You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast.
All right, punters and dribblers, welcome back to the Hello Sport Podcast, the home of unqualified opinion and unwavering bias. If I sound a little muffled, it's because I'm coming to you from an undisclosed location inside a bunker 3 kilometres underneath the earth. 3.5 kilometres underneath the ground. If you're not aware, the Parramatta Eels have made the grand final, and look, whilst we're optimistic there is a chance they win, and if that happens then the sun will actually be exploding before the grand final, as per scientific predictions and modelling. So we thought, fuck that, we're getting prepped. Obviously, dribbling yarn stops for no one, and doesn't stop for Doomsday, I can tell you that. But that is why you see us here, if you're watching on the YouTube, with all the appropriate protective equipment, these suits that we're wearing. Basically, the sun exploding, the only thing that could melt these suits, which is why we've also taken the precaution of going 3.5 kilometres into the Earth's core.
Look, we, the scientists at home might be sitting there saying, well, if the sun explodes, the Earth evaporates, and that may well be true. But I'll be fucked, punters and dribblers, if I'm not doing the best I can do. You know, what sort of man would I be if I wasn't at least prepared to have a crack at surviving? And that's what we've done. We've gone deep within the Earth's core, 3.535 kilometres.
This is usually at a depth where margaritas and rosés are pounded at.
Yeah. And I can confirm, accurate. There's rosé bottles everywhere down here.
Everywhere.
And fucking margarita glasses. Absolutely adorn this level of crust.
Yeah.
We're in our hazmats. We've got our bloody canned food. We've got our dunny paper.
Yeah.
I brought the doggies off shot.
Yeah.
The girls are in bunk beds elsewhere.
Yep, the babies are watching Bluey around the corner. We did manage to get some electricity down here. Generator.
Well, we just ran a wire down here, mate. It wasn't too difficult.
No.
Look, it shouldn't shock the punter and the dribbler. Tom and I have been preparing for this eventuality for some months.
Yeah. Basically, ever since they beat the Panthers the first time this year, we were like, well, listen, let's just get Dave to nip down to Woolies and get a couple of cans, get some TP, start stockpiling it, and we got Dave to start digging, basically.
He's been digging. He's been digging all year. That's where he's been the last week. We said he was overseas, but he's been putting the final touches on the bunker. He's done a mediocre job.
He hasn't done a great job.
He's done, as is expected of Dave, a mediocre job, but a job done nonetheless.
A job done. Well, listen, it was an awful time for him to get a girlfriend.
It was,
because she's not allowed in here yet with her 10 fucking housemates. So.
No. Well, look, there was a risk she'd be carrying some sort of disease, given she has that many housemates, and we thought the risk was too great.
So we locked her out.
Look, I fully expect punters and dribblers in the fullness of time to walk, or climb rather, back up the ladder, the 3.53 kilometres, back to the surface, given that I fully expect Penrith to roll through those fucking losers like a knife through hot butter. Or the other way around. Well, it still works.
No,
the butter's hot.
A hot knife through butter, not a knife through hot butter.
But if the butter's hot, the knife will...
The knife's going straight through it.
So it still works.
It still works. So, yeah, no, we expect... look, this is precautionary at this stage, but, you know, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. So it's...
You're dead right.
It is what it is, you know? It is what it is, but...
Look, I'd rather be up on the surface.
Fucking oath.
Clearly. However, we find ourselves in a situation where Parramatta have made the grand final. And we're prepared to go on the big lift for our families. And for the punter and the dribble.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need to be doing this fucking podcast from down here.
But we're doing it for you cunts.
We're doing it for you, and also, look, the bunker wasn't cheap.
No, it wasn't cheap.
It wasn't cheap.
So,
So, we've still got fucking... Listen, it's the bunker that KO built. and Ned's. And fucking... And Pilot and Bloke. There's no doubt in that.
Look, without them, the bunker wasn't possible. Is there room for them? No.
No.
Not the point.
No.
But we, obviously, we see ourselves as sort of, the leaders of the punter and the dribbler. So much like the president goes into the bunker in times of dire
circumstance.
So too do we.
I will say this, if you are a member of the Baggy Green, you already know this, but it's an announcement. If you do adorn yourself in Baggy Green, you do have a ticket to the bunker.
You will too be saved.
Yeah, you'll be saved. Not your families, though. It's just you're going to have to make a tough decision. Like, do you want to keep playing cricket for the greatest club on earth? Now,
think about this. Abandon your families and live. Stay with them and potentially die.
Potentially die. It's a pretty easy decision if you ask me. Now, for the purpose of the podcast long term, we have just got confirmation from Dave that the air pressure is now safe for us to remove the masks. That was the last touch, and obviously we leave everything very last minute. We were just waiting for this place to pressurise, get some clean oxygen in here. It was very sulphury, and I think it was going to kill us if we were to breathe it just without the masks. I do think, though, Eddie, that we can probably remove them for now. So let's just, you'll see us die on camera if they don't work.
No, I'm good. Oh, it's digging right into my fucking larynx.
Yeah. It is digging into the larynx. I know it looks better, but it's fucking annoying.
Let's maybe get the goggles off, and then we put this on the top of my head. There we go. I think we're back now. There we go. Now we're living.
Just going to do it like that.
The goggles are falling apart. The goggles broke before I put them on, punters and dribblers, and that was a concern. So fucking Parramatta, eh? Fucking Parramatta, they did the damn thing.
Good on them. This is also annoying.
What? On your head?
Yeah, it's cutting into me.
Now, Dave, I did just get a text as well. Dave or Tobler, we are able to get coffees down here still. Sonoma have been very good to us, and they drop it down in a little bucket and they just lower it down into the shaft.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure that they just drop one off. So Tobler, he's going to get it.
Very nice of them.
It's very nice.
Well, they're consummate professionals.
Well, listen, they know that if this fucking... When Penrith win, thank you. When Penrith win, that their business is still going to be going, and this is, do right by us, we'll do right by you.
That's right. Because if you're not prepared to put it in a bucket and lower it into the earth's core, then we'll find someone that will. And we're loyal.
We're loyal to a fault.
To a fault. We're loyal guys. And, whoever looks after us will look after them.
Yeah.
Now,
Parramatta
have got the dub. It was
a weird game.
It was a weird game. Parramatta didn't play well at all.
No. For the first half.
Yeah, for the first half, they sort of steadied the ship in the second half. There was a pass, Pendicini's first try, which I was on, had him FTS. So that was good for me.
Yeah.
Pass was half a metre forward.
It was comfortably forward. Look, I think ultimately it was not the reason the Eels won, but it was, you could argue. Well, you could argue technically it was points-wise, but the Cows fucked many a chance. And, I only saw the second Regan Campbell-Gillard try, but it was as soft as baby shit.
Yeah, it was.
It was soft as fuck. And there was one time where Nanai fucked a try where he just needed to give the ball to Felt. There were things in that game that definitely, that the Cowboys could have done better to get that win. I don't think. Obviously, that pass was fucking disgraceful. That the touchy was right there and the ref was right there, and they still let it go. And then some cunts are like, it went back out of the hands. I'm like, he was facing backwards, so if it went back out of the hands,
it went
forward.
Exactly right. They They failed to recognise that. You're right. The Cowboys had a shitload of chances. They were attacking the line over and over and over again and couldn't get the job done. Also, Parramatta were completing at 50% in the first half. So, unfortunately for the Cowboys, I think that it was just proof that you weren't up to it. You know?
Yeah.
They
did well enough, you know? They did well enough. My bet got up because it hit the fucking overs, which was nice. But it wasn't enough. But a valiant season. And, you know, they'll be better for the run. But listen, as much as I hate the Eels, and I do, and I don't want them to win, and I don't.
Yeah.
Well done to them. They're in the big one.
They've got the job done.
But it will now just be sweeter having them lose a grand final.
They've done very well going up to Townsville. Raucous crowd, full house. Everyone up there absolutely foaming at the mouth. And they came away with the chockies, so to speak, Thomas. I think that they'll be buoyed in some ways by going, shit, we can get better.
Yes, there's a lot of improvement.
If they roll that shit out against Penrith, there'll be 50 put on you.
Penrith
in the first
will
half.
beat the fucking piss out of you if you complete that poorly. It was diabolical. It was seriously shit rugby league from them. And when it started, I was like, oh, okay, we're on here. We're on. Cows in the GF, Cows in the big dance, Cows going to do the damn thing. Ruben Cotter was in a rugby league mood to start the game. When he scored, I was like, that was the most inevitable try I've ever seen. And it was just, he was absolutely hammering. But as it happens, as it turns out, how about Mitchell Moses, fucking baby being squeezed out in Sydney?
Yeah.
That's a huge day.
Crazy. But that's the sort of sacrifice you want to see.
Well, for your club.
For your club.
Yeah.
If you're an Eels supporter, I'm loving that.
Yes.
I'm pumped about that.
If you're his wife, you may feel differently.
Obviously, she may feel differently, but I'm just saying as a support, because they're not going to get the job done. They're not going to win the game without him.
No, they're
There's
not.
absolutely fucking no way in the world. He had to be there
to get the job done. He kicked 4 from 4. He was kicking awfully to start the game, like kicking out on the full and shit, but he obviously was able to turn it around, which is cool. There's a lot of players in the Eels side, and again, hate the Eels, but players that we like, right? We've said that for a long time.
Sean Lane had a fucking game.
Sean Lane.
He had a game, bro. He was like...
Slender Man.
He was basically undefendable.
Yes.
Is that a word?
No, I'm sure it is. Every time he got the ball in the second half, he did
He would have had to be man of the match, wasn't he?
I think he might have been man of the match.
If he wasn't man of the match, I'm not here.
He should have been. Every time he got the ball, what did he get? 14 runs, 135 metres.
He's now like the offload king of the NRL.
59 post-contact, line break assists, 1, try assist, 1, 5 tackle breaks, 13 hit-ups, average play the ball
How many
speed.
offloads did he have?
That's
4.
what I'm looking for.
Terrific. Unbelievable. He was great.
Yeah, he was great, dude. Former Manly player. Obviously, that's where he learned to play the game. 93% tackle efficiency.
30 tackles made. Missed a couple of
1 intercept. Right. 1 kick diffusion. Mate.
Big game. Huge game.
You know what? We could use him down in the bunker.
We could. He'd do a job in a bunker.
He'd do a job down here.
Oh, he'd do a job down here, Tom. No question about that. He'd do a job. Played 66 brave, tough, hard minutes.
Hard Australian minutes.
Yeah, they were hard Australian minutes. Shout out to Sean Lane. Thought he was absolutely fucking terrific.
Eddie, just before we move on, can you just give us a taste of the cream corn out of 10? What is it?
I've tasted it before.
No, you have it a taste.
No, I've had it.
Give it a taste.
No, I had it before.
Just give it a quick little nibble.
I had it before. It was beautiful.
Just a quick little one.
No, it was beautiful, mate. I loved it.
Well, because, I mean...
No, it was great.
Edgell are sponsoring the bunker, so we just need you to have a
I had
quick
some
little...
before. It was beautiful. It was really nice.
Okay, cool. Are you sure you don't want to try any?
No, I'm not a big... Yeah, look, no. It was nice. Edgell, shout out to you. Why don't you have some, mate?
Well, mate, mine's finished.
Oh, okay.
Finished
Yeah, right.
Mine's all gone.
Okay. No, beautiful stuff.
Beautiful
really
stuff.
Nice.
No, it's really good. Really nice.
Really enjoyable.
Looking forward to tucking into the Spam at some point.
Yeah, the Spam looks good.
Yeah.
The Spam looks really good.
Really nice. And there's some vegetable and steak we've got there. Some straight up beans.
What's that vegetarian hot dog? What's that?
Carrots, is it? Is that the one in the middle?
No, I think that's just a vegetarian hot dog.
And that's in there?
I believe in some form, yeah.
Wow, Dave,
you've done well, mate.
I thought I'd treat you guys a bit.
You might need to try that on the potty today. We might need to get Dave to try that.
I think we absolutely will.
Just to know, like, if it's
well, just to be like, what is a veg? First and foremost, what's a vegetarian hot dog?
Tastes like. Do they need to be cooked? Does that thing come out ready to rock?
Well, if it's canned, it's got to come out good to go.
Does it?
Well, you don't have to cook it. You can warm it up.
Well, we won't be doing that.
But it will be cooked.
We could whack it in the kettle, Dave, if you want. Just boil that kettle in
We've
there.
got a new microwave.
We do have a microwave down here in the bunker.
Yeah, it's new.
Yeah.
Especially for the bunker.
And we got power all the way up to the roof.
Yeah, we do.
Up to ground level.
What else? Nanai not passing the felt that I was like, bruh, he is
over.
wide open.
He was tough.
fuming,
Yeah.
Kyle. Kyle
was
was fuming. Jason Tamalolo binned in the 15th minute.
I'm almost glad the Cows didn't win because it would have been fucked if he wasn't allowed to play grand final. I think Junior Paulo had a similar situation. I think he's going to be allowed to play, I would hope. I haven't seen anything to the contrary. But I just don't think that it is right, reasonable, decent to be fucking players out for a grand final. Like,
no,
unless
there should no. Okay,
unless
put it. No, I would say
it's got to be awful.
I would say this. I draw the line at something like Tane Milne,
bro,
who we'll get to. But like,
yes.
If you're going to go around fucking stiff-arming people,
Yeah, that's different.
when you've said during the week, doing interviews, being like, I've changed, I'm a new man.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah, bro. They were
We'll
doing
get
big
to ya.
pieces on him in the paper.
We'll get to you,
After he
Tane.
got sent off twice in a game, he's like, I've reformed, I've found Jesus.
Jesus.
All right. All right, Tane.
We'll get to you, Tane. That's tough. Yeah.
But
like Jason's getting 3 weeks. And it's also, what's interesting is he's going to miss World Cup games. So I'm like, but this isn't the NRL.
no, that's dumb.
That's dumb.
They shouldn't. It should be
NRL
NRL
games. Because also, then it's an advantage really to the Cowboys. They aren't losing a player for anything.
Great point. That's a great point.
They're not losing him for shit.
Nah, that's stupid. I hate that.
If you're a Cowboy, you're loving it. But he's like, I want to play for Tonga. And I want to see him play for Tonga. I don't want him to miss 3 or 4 games for Tonga.
Well, he's going to miss all the pool games.
Maybe they don't make it out of the pool stage without Jason. I mean, you'd assume they would, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but maybe not. You never know.
Stranger things.
I don't even know what the pool is.
I haven't looked at it.
I'm not going to look at it now. I've got bigger things on my mind.
Yeah, like the future of the universe,
Yeah,
whether the
well,
sun's going to explode.
Well, future of the solar system.
Solar system, not the universe. Universe will go on in earnest.
No, it'll go on. It'll keep trucking nut.
It'll keep
and
trucking
maybe
nut.
somewhere out there, if the solar system is to perish, maybe there's a solar system out there where they are still trucking Steedens.
Yeah, or an alternate universe, Eddie, because we could be in a multiverse. We aren't really sure of that.
No, we're
yet.
not. We could be in a simulation.
We could also be in a simulation.
There's no way of knowing. However, in my heart of hearts, do I think that the Steeden will go on? Yeah, I do.
No, I do. I think, at least I like to, it's comforting to me to think that it will continue somewhere, somehow, someone's trucking nut.
Can I put this to you? How could it be, Tom, that God's winter game doesn't live on?
Well, can I put something else to you? When the sun dies, there is no seasons.
However, if God loves rugby league as much as he's told us he does, he's got all the boys playing across the universe.
Across the universe.
Everyone's trucking Steed.
Imagine if that was the only game played universally.
Imagine if we found other planets, right? Let's say there's, for argument's sake, there's another 10,000 species
Of humanoid or just
of intelligent life. And on all planets, in their own winters, they're trucking Steed.
They're trucking Steed, playing rugby league, and in summer, obviously knocking in English Willow and fucking
Taking the fucking lacquer off
taking
nut.
the lacquer off nut,
Yeah.
just ripping them in,
Oh,
getting the
100%.
thing to fucking hoop around corners
Yeah.
and turn a mile.
Yeah.
That would comfort
Because you're going to have different soils and different wickets on different planets.
mate. Can you imagine? Fucking different. I mean, these conditions.
I tell you what I can be sure of. Of all that intelligent life we're talking about, no one ripped it like Warney.
No. He's the one. He's one of one.
He's one of one.
He's one of one.
Yeah.
There'd be fucking aliens on Beta Thynone Xenu 3 going like, bruh, you heard about this kid.
You heard about this cunt?
This kid could play.
Yeah, he could play. Look at his hands. He could
I
rip 'em.
half wouldn't be surprised if, maybe a more advanced civilization has just come and yoinked him off Earth.
Taking him. Going, we want you to spin nut.
Like a bit of a Space Jam vibes. But he's not coming back.
But he might come back. Well, he's not coming back.
He's not coming back.
But maybe a Space Jam thing. Yeah.
He's now playing on a different planet.
Wig out. That's food for thought on Monday.
Listen, it's a heavy fucking thing to think about on a Monday.
But
it is what it is. You got to think about these things.
You do. So the Eels, they back in their first GF since 2009. We all know what happened then, and back in their first grand final before that since 2001.
Yep.
We all know what happened then. Now they say bad luck happens in threes. I think this is the third.
This might be the third
for the Eels.
Yep.
Commiserations, if that is the case. We'll find out in earnest 7 p.m. Sunday. Although the land is, I know you're listening, it should be 4 p.m.
It should be 4 p.m.
It should be 4 p.m.
Now, before I forget, and I'm going to need Tobler to get back off his seat quickly, cut to a wide shot, Tobler, and get up. Now, tonight, 6 p.m, bloke.shop. Again, if you're still living above ground, you're probably going to want to get in on these before the world ends because they're not coming back. Thank you, Tobler. These suits are very delicate. I've got to be slow with my movements. Bloke.shop, the Dirty Merger t-shirt. The Dirty Merger podcast t-shirt goes on sale. Bloke.shop.
6 p.m. tonight. Do not miss these punters and dribblers. You want to be wearing this as we all go out together.
You want to be going out in a fucking Hello Sport bloke in a bar. Let's get the front of the tee as well. It's a Hello Bloke production.
Oh, that's nice. That is nice.
Check that shit.
Fucking love that shit.
Check that shit. It's got all the great characters from past podcasts.
It's basically, it's a nod to the DMP universe.
Yeah.
All the characters are in there. The carrot cake gets a run. Tom fighting an ibis.
Eddie struggling to swim.
Me struggling to swim.
Buoyancy issues. Div 2 Oztag.
That's right. Denon underhooks, panning some prick that
Ghillie suits.
Smiled at him in the park.
Yeah.
Ghillie suits.
Mayo
Matty the
Man.
water bow scissoring people. Mayo Man. Et al. Now there's grey, blue, charcoal, and cream, and they're fucking hot
to trot. Bloke.shop, 6 p.m. Make smart decisions. The world is ending. Make smart decisions. It's ending. And if it's not, you got a t-shirt. You got a t-shirt you can take home to them.
No, listen. You need to make the smartest possible decisions you can while the Earth's pending.
Yeah.
And this is the smartest one you can make. I would almost argue that it's bloke/Hello Sport shirt first, then find yourself a bunker second.
Fine, yeah, well, because if the world doesn't end, but the sale has, you're fucked now.
Yeah, you're fucked. It's all over for you because
So, you may as well spend the money. If the world ends, who cares? Money's useless and pointless, and it was just a figment of our imagination. If the world continues, then you haven't missed out on the great sale.
And you've got a shirt.
Yeah.
So it's win-win.
There's really no downside to it. You may as well just get one. Now, fuck the Eels, but they're in a grand final. Congratulations. First team into the GF, Parramatta Eels. Obviously, when we talk rugby league, it's KO, but KO doesn't have a game this week, so I'm still mentioning them because if I had to say, Eddie, I'd be watching KO.
Yep. Part of me just wants to wait for the replay and just watch it on KO. That's how strongly I feel about it. I don't even really want to watch it live.
No.
I'd rather watch the replay on KO. That's just me.
That's
just me.
Yeah. I don't even know where you can watch it. I just know that KO is where I'll be watching.
Well, I got no idea. All I know is that I can watch a replay on KO. So that's probably what I'll be doing.
Yep. Now, the next game played on the weekend was the Penrith Panthers taking on the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, at one point, it looked like the Rabbitohs were going to do the damn thing. It really did. It really, really did. The Penrith Panthers didn't score a fucking point or a try until the 35th minute. But what you saw from the Penrith Panthers was a side that can just fucking hang in and just keep turning up, keep playing,
They
doing the same thing over and over again, and they go, okay, now you fall apart, and we just
They had no fucking rugby league football.
No luck
for the
either.
first 20 minutes. No luck. They were up against it.
That Charlie Staines try that was like Jerome Luai ran behind a play was one of the great horseshit calls all time. It's like, I get the technicality of it, but it's like it made no difference to the result of that
Look,
try.
get the technicality, but I'd like to use a little bit of
Common sense.
common sense. Common sense, the winner, generally, punters and dribblers. You don't see common sense come out of the bunker.
You know what?
don't see it.
Not this bunker as well. This is a different bunker. You know the irony about common sense, Eddie? It's not that common.
I know. It's one of life's great ironies. Common sense is not common at all. You could almost be saying, let's use uncommon sense, and it'd make more
Yes,
sense.
and that would make more sense.
Because it's you're taking the piss saying common sense because you're expecting common sense, but it's not common, it's uncommon because no one's got common sense.
No, commonly, people don't have sense.
And I'll give you the hot tip. The people they've got in the bunker, not our bunker, the rugby league bunker,
Yeah.
they have no sense. They're senseless.
Senseless.
So to expect common sense out of people with no sense makes no sense.
What was the name of that girl who had like no senses, but she learned to read and write and shit?
Helen Keller.
Helen Keller. That's the bunker. Bunch of Helen Kellers up there.
Serious Helen Kellers. A lot of HKs in that bunker.
And that's no knock on Helen Keller, one of the greats.
No, it's not. That's a nod to Helen Keller, but
Yeah.
we're just saying there's HKs up there.
Yeah.
But HKs that don't reach the
Well,
heights
Helen
of
Keller would be like, are you guys blind?
Yeah. She
You know
would.
what I mean?
Yeah, she would. Helen would be upset with what she was saying.
She was-
out of senseless individuals.
And she can't see a goddamn thing.
yeah, and she'd be watching that going, this is fucked up.
Even she would be like, that was a forward pass, Mitchell Moses.
Correct.
Or, you know what? I'm going to use some common sense from someone who's lacking senses, and I'm going to allow that Jerome Luai fucking pass to stand.
Yeah, that's right.
But not in the bunker.
No,
Not in 2022.
no, you don't get that there.
It's funny. I was watching the game with my sister, who's lived in New York for like the last 9 years. And with the slow change of the game when you're living here and it sort of happens in front of you, you don't necessarily see how much it's changed from where it was to where it's got to. And she was sitting there going, why the fuck? Well, she's like, why is there another stoppage in play? Like the amount of times the bunker is used. I know that's what everyone's saying now, but I just was seeing it through the eyes of someone who was like, what the fuck has happened to this game? Like she was like, it was like NFL. Like they're just stopping for everything to look at absolutely every single thing. And you're just like, this is ridiculous.
Look, the bunkers should be used only for scoring opportunities. That's it. Otherwise, fucking leave it alone. Make
Yeah.
a call on the field and that's it. And while you're at it, if you are going to just do it for scoring opportunities in that specific play, you can't go back to the tackle before.
No.
It's got to be that tackle. Then maybe you look at that forward pass in the first for the Eels.
Because that's what I don't get about the forward passes, right? Like you can rule on if a guy's knocked it forward. And I don't mean just knocked it along the ground, but, it's come off his hand and gone forward.
Yeah, but often in rugby league, doesn't matter if it's gone forward or not. If you've dropped it,
It's a knock on.
it's a knock on.
It's a bit of a, it's
rugby league knock ons do my fucking head in.
mate, Helen Keller would be losing it.
Oh, 100%. Anyway, that's by the by. The Rabbits started strong, but I still was like, listen, when the Panthers get some seed, this could be anything.
I feel like
And it
Sebo
was.
of About Even fame jinxed it to a degree.
Oh, he went off. He
He
so
was
early.
like, he sent a message going, I wasn't emotionally prepared to be up by 12 points. And
He went off
then
early.
He basically said that at like the 34th minute, and then the 35th minute, Api Coruscant scored a fucking try, and then Toto scored one 4 minutes later, and you're like,
Brian made
that was
the whole Rabbitohs defence look stupid. They're all tripping over each other
Yeah.
and shit. When Cody Walker got brad,
he got Narbrad.
fucking hell, he got brad. And then like Cook is like tripping over and shit. It got embarrassing quickly. I'm like,
But
oh,
also
yuck.
on half time, dude. So 4 minutes from half time, they're up 12-0. And then they just go bang, bang. And that Brian Toto one was like, yoink, thank you. But still had some work to do, did Brian. He bunched some fellas and then got over
He
there.
bunched one fella.
But he bunched a fella into a fella. So
Well,
it's a double
he
bunch.
bunched a fella, and then fella started tripping over a fella.
Yeah, he bunched Cody
He
into
dropped.
Cook.
He actually dropped three blokes.
Yeah.
He dropped 3 blokes.
From one bunce.
Yeah, one bunce dropped 3 blokes. That's the power of a Narbra.
That's Greg Inglis sort of shit.
But if you were like, oh, what's a Narbra? That's a Narbra.
That's a Narbra.
When someone gets Narbra'd so hard, his teammates fall over as well.
Yeah.
That's a Narbra from hell. And Brian dished it out in earnest.
Yeah.
Brian can play.
Brian can play. Kid can play.
Brian's terrific.
Now, I like the ghost.
Dylan Edwards.
That we want to talk about kids that can play.
You know he got player of the year for Penrith.
And he should have got man of the match, but I think they gave it to Cleary after that try he scored late in the game. Dylan Edwards is a motherfucker. 287 metres.
Brian did 293.
Well, Brian's a psychopath, and we know that.
How many post-contact metres for Brian? 80.
Gee.
Go back, go down. Did anyone best the PCM king?
Well, Dillybags got 70, not bad.
No one's even close to Brian.
Well,
bro.
Dylan Edwards is at 70. And then can we do it at how many runs? 14 tackle breaks from Dylan Edwards. Are you serious? Where's tackle breaks? 3. 14 tackle breaks.
That's fucked up. Dylan's in some sort of form, bro.
Dude, like he's not just like, it's funny, him and Gutho are similar in that sense, right? Like they are almost underrated. I actually think he's better than Gutho.
No. They're not similar in that way. Dylan is.
No, but they are in the sense that like they're both like the rung below elite fullbacks, even though you'd argue they're fucking.
I think Dylan's playing elite football.
He is
right
playing
now.
elite. He is, but he's not Tommy Turbo. He's
And
just
I'll tell you what,
he's not Tedesco.
No, you're right. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Eels fans. I hate to be that guy. But with Dylan playing the way he's playing, I think you're absolutely fucked.
Yeah, no, you're in some hot poo.
The difference on the weekend between Dylan Edwards and Latrell Mitchell was fucking staggering.
Yes, it's. I mean, someone then put in a P's and D's saying Trell's not a fullback. I'm like, I mean, he's been dominating all year, so I don't know how the fuck you'd say that. And then it's like, okay, he doesn't have the game of his life against the greatest team of the last 3 years, and so now he's.
I'd like to know. It'd be interesting to know what the actual reason for him and his defensive lapses was. Like, was it a fitness thing, or is it his inability to read the game?
Maybe it was just a bad game.
No. That him not being there is not a bad game. That's like.
No,
That's
but
like
no.
You're either there or you're not.
Of course, but I mean, is he always not
Or
there?
is he? That's
or
what
is
I'm
he
saying.
usually a relatively decent defensive fullback? I don't know. Like,
Or do you think Penrith just literally found like what they needed to do and they just did it?
Yeah, like Penrith just
like,
nailed
Because a lot of
it.
people
it's a
were
bit of
saying,
both, like,
there's quite a few people were saying it was fitness and he couldn't get back there. But then I'm
Oh,
like,
maybe I'm like, I
that's
don't know.
right.
But like, he seems, no one's saying this shit when he's ripping it up for the last few weeks. No one's talking about his fitness. He came back fit as fuck from America.
if anyone's going to expose him not being there, it's Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary.
And it's
So
funny
Jerome Luai's kick to, who did he grubber it to?
was it Targo?
Maybe. That was fucking,
That was tasty.
yeah, it was, yeah.
Um,
And then Cleary, and then
Cleary
literally,
grabbed it to himself.
12 minutes later, 22 minutes later, same thing.
Now, when you're talking about fitness of fullbacks and stuff, that's what was Dylan Edwards. There was this play where I think he made a tackle on Trell or someone, like where he's had to run back and tackle him. And then as soon as he's made the tackle, he's then got up and run back, like literally the next play after he's made the tackle. And then the South, I think it was Trell's, like put a kick in behind and he's already up and running back to get it.
Yeah,
and they were just like,
and he gathers it again. Apparently Dylan Edwards is the fittest guy at the club.
yeah. And they're just like, this is like,
Which is where the chatter was coming from, where they're comparing Dilly Bags.
Obviously, that's not.
Oh,
actually
not Dilly
the
Bags,
ghost.
Dylan Edwards, but it's hard not to say Dilly Bags when his name's Dylan.
Well, because
flows
it's
off the
just such a good name.
When he's doing that sort of shit, and then Latrell's just not back defending at fullback.
Yeah.
On 2 occasions.
Yes.
And getting pumped for it.
And I don't know. I don't know the answer in terms of whether Latrell is.
I'm just merely my internal musings.
Yes, and the combos. But again, I just found it a little bit like, oh, you're gonna shit on him after a bad game against Penrith. Who, the stat on these motherfuckers in the 3 years, 60. Can you just confirm the exact number there? But it's like 65 games. Sorry, 75 games, 65 wins or something. Like the amount of game over the last 3 years.
Well, mate, 3rd straight grand final.
But that win rate is fucking insanity.
Yeah, it's one
and
of
they
the-
were talking about it as being like potentially, if they win on the weekend, one of the great sides of all time.
If they, mate, Where is that fucking post? Where's my...
Can we get internet down here?
I've still got reception down here. Well, we've got the
We got a
Wi-Fi.
dongle. We got a
bought
dongle
what?
installed. We also got a fridge and a pool table because, we get fucking bored.
Let me just get something up for the punter and for the dribbler, of whom means so much to us. Of whom means so much to us. The Panthers have won the New South Wales Cup, and the club is just one way a win from history. Punters and dribblers, they've won the SG Ball, they've won Jersey Flag, they've won New South Wales Cup. If they win first grade, 4 from 4.
Holy shit.
Now,
I did not know that.
I think it's worth pointing out that if you're dominating across the board like that, it speaks to
Systems and
processes, which there's a man to put them in. And if people were like, whoa, you didn't fucking happen when he was at club. Shit like that takes decades to fulfill, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like planting a 10-year crop or like a beautiful fucking apple tree. And then after an orchard, you walk out there 10 years later and you go, oh, these fuckers are good to go.
Yeah.
And you're just picking apple after apple. And it seems like the apples won't run out, Thomas. That's what you're seeing.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Center of excellence, systems and processes, Gus Gould. Now, some people are like, it's not fucking Gus. But, it probably was.
Look.
It probably
was. I think we just need to be open and honest with ourselves. It probably was.
It probably had a lot to do with him. But again, just the idea that you're seeing arguably one of the all-time great sides is cool because I kind of don't – there's almost an element where you could say you take him for granted because I am a Manly fan. You know what I mean? Like when you're a fan of another side, you can maybe you don't want to appreciate – you can struggle to appreciate greatness in other teams because you're kind of jealous or just frustrated that your side sucks or that they're not winning or that whatever. But this team and the nucleus of it is fucking insane.
It's fucking rock solid. And they've lost They lost Matt Burton, who's had a terrific fucking season.
Well, he's kicked on.
Oh, he's kicked up
and on.
And he's kicked on. And they've lost Capewell as well, glory hole, who can play.
Well, all glory be to that hole.
Listen, it will be fucking impressive if the Eels can beat this side for 2 reasons. One, they've already won one, so they know what it takes. You know what I mean? They've been there. They've done it. The first year, they run up against the Storm.
Well, they've lost one as well, which I think also helps.
But they're nervous as shit.
Yeah.
The grand final week, which all the players talk about. When they asked Cooper Cronk after the game, what does it take to win? He talks. They talk ad nauseum about the same thing. Don't get too high. Don't you need to be? You need to flatline and then peak for the game.
I do love that chat though, where it's I was thinking about that when I was seeing on the weekend where Cronk was like, you don't want to get too up and down. You don't want to play the game before you've played the game.
Yeah, but they all say it.
I don't understand even what that means, but I love it.
But you know who nods in unison? Guys that have won comps.
Yeah, don't play the game before you've played the game.
And
the last thing you want to do, Eddie, is to have played the game before the game's even started.
Well, because listen, what's the point of playing the game before the game's even started? If you've already played the game and the real game hasn't started, then you've already played the game. You can't go out there and play the game because you've already played it. So you're not going to play it twice.
You don't want to play the game twice.
It's like when you and I dribble and yarn and then we realise that we're not recording. And then you and I look at each other and go, well, we can't now dribble and yarn. We've tried to dribble and yarn when we've lost dribble and yarn.
You can't play the game twice.
And you can't back up and dribble and yarn. And I think, Tom, that's what Cooper's talking about. That's what Joey's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay?
Don't play the game
twice. And I fear I think the Eels may well do that.
I think the Eels could already be playing the game.
I think they're playing it now.
Yeah, well, I hope they are for the sake of humanity.
So do I. But I'm just, look, again, I'll be super impressed if they can get that dub. But they haven't lost one to win one. Okay? I think they're playing the game now, which means they'll play the game twice. And you can be as sure as shit that the Panthers boys, who know what it takes,
they won't be playing.
They're just cruising, bruh.
They aren't playing the game right now. I can tell you that for free. You'd even say that the Eels may play it 2 or 3 times.
So then they're
before
going,
kickoff.
they're going busted.
They're going completely fucked. It's not really a 5-day turnaround then or a 7-day turnaround. It's probably like a 4, 3, 2, 1 day.
It could be a 1 day turnaround.
Yeah, because they could be playing a full 80 on Saturday.
Wouldn't rule it out. Tell you who's not playing a full 80 on Saturday. Nathan Cleary.
Fuck no.
Liam Martin.
Mate.
Brian Toto.
No.
Jerome Luai.
No.
Isaac Tungo. Stephen Crichton.
Well,
Dylan
Tungo,
Edwards.
first grand final.
Well, he might have.
He might.
You're right.
But he's got,
Charlie Staines might.
He might, but you've got guys around those boys.
Is May back?
I don't think so. I'd be surprised. He did a fucking hammy.
Oh, he did a hammy.
But even so, if May hasn't played one either.
That's true.
So
there's boys that will play
a grand final before the grand final, but you just hope that they've got the people around them to it. Like, hey, don't play too many games. Like maybe you play one.
Well, but there's boys out there that
we'll play none. They'll be coming in fresh.
Exactly, and they're the ones that touch all the footy.
Yes, that dictate terms.
Yeah,
like
Isaiah Yeo. He's won a grand final. So he's not playing he's not playing a second.
He's not playing a single set.
No, absolutely not. Liam Martin, Kickow, Fisher Harris. Those fuckers will go in
fresh to death.
Not to mention, Tom, that not only did they get rested the week before the finals, they also had the week off last week. So they come in fucking fresh to death, having ploughed the Rabbitohs into the ground 32-12, having no footy in the first 20 minutes and scoring 4 tries that all got called back. So I worry about the Eels and I'm hopeful about a tomorrow for the planet.
Yeah. The day after. I'm hopeful for the day after tomorrow.
Yeah. Shout out to that guy that wrote those books. He's Australian.
Tom Clancy or some shit.
No.
Tomorrow when the war began? That's what you're thinking of. Is that like Morris Gleitzman or some shit? John Marsden?
Johnny Mars.
Was it John Marsden?
It was. Oh, hang on. Only the movie's coming up.
Shout out to Tomorrow When the War Began, the movie, which was supposed to be one of 7, but it didn't quite get off the ground.
No, it wasn't a box office smash like we'd hoped. But shout out to
John Marsden,
the progeny of the great Wally Lewis, Lincoln Lewis, who did star in the film.
He did, and I thought he was terrific.
I thought he was fantastic. I thought, you know what, the only reason it got to the big screen was because of the star power of Link Lewis.
Is Link still doing the damn thing?
I don't know what Link's doing.
Is he still acting? I haven't seen Link in anything for a while.
I haven't seen Link for a minute. I don't know what Link's up to, whether he's acting, whether he's had a fucking career change, but I haven't seen Link.
Being the son of the king, it'd be a full-time job, though.
Well, he was on Home and Away with friend of the show, Luke Bracey, and I think
was.
Brace went and stayed at the King's house once, and he said when you walk in the front door, huge fucking mural of the King in an Origin jersey, in Origin attire, like painting.
Well, you're in the king's house then.
Yeah, you know what you
his
are.
mansion or his castle.
Yeah, I think it was a castle.
Yeah.
King's Castle.
King's castle.
He has been in a few. He was in one episode of a TV series in 2022.
Called what?
He was in a called Darby and Joan. He was in a film called Black Site and The Possessed this year and last year. But yeah, before that, he seemed like he had a break between 2016 and 2019. But that's 2016 and before was when he was really getting into his work.
Yeah, right. Shout out to Link anyway. And Tomorrow When the War Began, and John Marsden, and Morris Gleitzman, who I know didn't write Tomorrow When the War Began, but he was fucking... Him and Paul Jennings got me into books.
Yeah, shout out to Paul Jennings as well. So the Panthers, they get the job done.
Yeah.
Brave season from the Rabbitohs in the end.
Yep. Now, I just want to quickly... 2 things.
Yeah, bruh. Mitch Kenny can play.
Oh, no, Mitch Kenny can play.
Mitch Kenny can play, bro.
No, Mitch Kenny can play.
I want to go back for a second.
No,
That
jump
cunt
back,
can
hop back.
play,
No, Mitch
bruh.
Kenny, and you know what? It's good for the Panthers, is Appy's going. And now
Mitch
you got
Kenny,
Kenny.
dude, it makes sense now. I'm like, oh, that's why you let him go. Mitch Kenny's the real deal.
Well, Appy's going to be Appy. You know, you're trying to manage a cap, Eddie.
No, but
Appy's going to go. We got a real deal here.
But I get it, because that's just rugby league football in the salary cap era. You got to manage your squad.
Yeah.
And I'm now like, oh, I thought you were going to really struggle without Appy. And then I saw Mitch Kenny on the weekend and I go, oh my God. Mitch Kenny's the real deal.
Yeah, you talking about Mitch the real deal Kenny?
Mitch the real deal Kenny, bruh.
Dude, real deal.
Oh,
you talking about real deal?
Oh my God. Sign me up, Mitch.
Oh no, I'll take a fucking is real
Are
deal.
you doing dollops of Mitch, bro?
Is he doing some sort of like a coin though? Like can I buy fucking real deal tokens?
Like an NFT?
Yep. Or just even can I like buy a real deal crypto?
Mate, Mitch the real deal Kenny as a coin.
Kenny coin. A real deal Kenny coin.
Kenny coin. And the coin obviously with a K. Kenny coin.
Yeah, Kenny coin. Real deal.
Real deal. Love it.
Yeah, watch that thing blow up. Yeah, no. Mitch Kenny can play. He can play. Real deal.
He can play.
Oh, he's a real deal.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Do we give him an any time? I know this is early.
Oh, bro, I'm all over Mitch Kenny.
You want to go
for
a real deal any time in the GF?
Because I look at that. I tell you who's not playing a lick of football before the whistle goes. Mitch Kenny.
Nah, he's not.
He's not. He's not that kid.
Nah, he's not that kid. He ain't about that.
No. No way. He knows what's up.
Nah, real deal gets it, dude. I like real deal for an any time.
Love that. Love that.
Is that rugby league in terms of as we know it and see it? Fucking one game to go of the season, dude. One game to go.
We are at the Locker Room Hotel, punters and dribblers. Tom and I will be there. That's outside the stadium this Sunday.
Before kickoff.
I think we get cracking, Tom and I, at 5:30. I think Guru and Timmy from the
Supercoach Playbook.
Yeah, they'll be there from 4:30, I believe.
It's kicking off from 4:30. There'll be more info about when we start at our, but I think the whole thing kicks off 4:30. Grand final, hot, heavy, horny, ready to rip, ready to tear. Now, Dave has just scrolled us to the Dally M's, which are this Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Ben Hunt, Isaiah Yeo, Nico Hines, Mitch Moses, Pappenhausen. Were they all leading when it went behind closed doors?
Yeah, this is the final tally before it went behind closed doors.
Interesting. Isaiah Yeo could fucking get there.
Look, I can't sit here and recall off the top of the dome how these players went after the voting went behind closed doors.
Well, I haven't been following.
Off vibe and vibe alone, you'd have to think Ben Hunt's a sniff.
Yep. Nico's
a stiff. Mitch Moses missed games, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He got injured and shit.
So you put a line through him.
I think you put a line through Mitch.
I think
Isaiah Yeo could be picking him up, though.
I think it's a 3-horse race between Hunt, Yeo, Hines. Moses, Nut, Pap, Nut, Tedesco, Nut, Cherry, Nut.
I think the problem with Yeo, something that has happened to a lot of Storm players in recent years, is there's too many good players in his team.
Yes.
Because Cleary didn't play like the first 5 games, but he's still,
Yeah, but Cleary doesn't play the last 5.
That's true.
But you've still got other throbbers in your side that could potentially rob you of Dalium points.
I think it's a Hunt-Hines situation.
Yep.
And if I have to pick one, I'm going to go with Benny Hunt.
Yeah, so am I.
Which will be a nice redemptive arc.
Yeah, it will be a nice redemptive arc.
Particularly because he essentially, he's the man that scored that try that fucking...
He fucked us in Origin.
Knifed him in the heart.
Yeah, he fucked us.
So he gets a shield and a Dally M's.
Well, it'd also be nice for Kill the Stream, you know? Kill the Stream.
Yeah, it would. It'd nice to have this stream be killed by
the Dally M
medalist.
Also, shout out to the guy who we saw at the marathon who had Kill the Stream tattooed on him.
He did. That was cool. I like that a lot. Shout out to you, bruh.
Now, I'm going to move on from rugby league for now, unless there's other stories that we have missed from. Is there any?
Well, do you want to talk about Tane Mill?
Oh,
how do we not talk about that?
I don't know. We touched on it
already
before.
talked
we
about
kind of touched on it, but that hit, dude. I'm surprised he didn't break his arm. Like, I'm surprised he didn't snap his arm over his forehead.
I'm surprised more damage wasn't done. That was the dumbest fucking thing I've seen on a footy field, maybe ever. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Fucking he's not even trying to he's literally trying to iron him out. That's all he's doing.
Listen, I still prefer to say that it wasn't intentional.
Bruh, he goes like that.
I know.
Like, I'm sorry, but if you weren't swinging in there, bruh, what were you doing?
I don't know what he was doing. Can you get the replay up, Dave?
Mm-hmm. It was absolutely absurd. And to try and wool pull the punter and the dribbler with some sort of like, I'm looking to redeem myself bullshit. And then you go out there and do that. If I'm the Bunnies, I'm like, on your bike, bro.
No, you can't fucking do that. You don't want someone to lose a career for a stiffy, an old-fashioned stiffy, as Blocker put it. No, it's not like it lost him the game.
It was not about that.
Nah, I feel sorry for
Sent
Tane.
off twice 2 weeks before that.
Yeah, fucking so Victor Radley gets sent off every other game. Like, It's not a good look. It was an awful, awful tackle. He'll get suspended for probably like fucking 10 weeks. Like, it was ridiculous.
Maybe longer.
Maybe. And we can't play the footage on the screen, punters, dribbles. We also can't play the audio because, that was big.
It's bad.
You may notice our podcast from last week was taken down for literally just playing a post-game interview with Latrell from a broadcaster who is not Fox League.
Yeah, shout out the broadcaster who will not be named for
who
that.
fucking literally has us taken off for playing an interview. What a load of shite. Anyway, whatever, it is what it is. This great run from Spencer Linu, though. Good God.
Spencer can play.
Spencer can play, and then he's looking around, and let me just... Yeah, that's not a good...
Yeah, okay.
He just isn't looking.
Okay.
He's not looking.
Look at him. Bang.
Yeah.
That's intent there.
That's bad. That's as bad as it gets. And then Spencer, once he realizes...
He sits and cocks and then jumps up and swings in. I don't know what else I could possibly be looking at there.
Spencer's fucking furious as well, trying to get a bit of sideline action on, which I would have liked.
You know, well, I think friend of the show, Dan Ganane, was like, this has got Battle of Brookie about it.
Yeah.
Which it did.
It did. It really
Cam Murray
did.
trying to desperately defend his boy here. He's
Yeah,
like, mate, they've been going high all game. He's
Oh,
like,
no,
mate.
just can I ask quickly, they've been doing it. It's like, mate, he literally just stiff-armed him on the fucking into the face. And then shout out to Blocker Roach, who called it an old-fashioned stiffy, because that's exactly what it was.
It was.
It was just an old-fashioned stiffy.
It was as old-fashioned as you're likely to see.
Well, it could have been Blocker's stiffy itself.
Correct. It could have been. It was old-fashioned, Tom. We know
It was
that.
old, dude. It was an old-fashioned stiffy. It almost looked like it was filmed in the 80s. It was such an old-fashioned stiffy.
Yeah, it was. You know when like the colour grading
Colour grade,
changed?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It wasn't HD.
No, fuck no. Oh, that was analog.
It was an analog stiffy. If ever I've seen a stiffy as old-fashioned as that,
Yeah.
that was an old-fashioned stiffy.
Anyway, that was that's old-fashioned from Tano. One more time.
One
Look
more
at
time.
this. Sit, cock, bang. Cop that, bruh.
Bang.
Nice and high. Round the chops.
Whoa, fuck. And then
Just a little bit there from Trelly.
Not much though. Slow mo.
Nah,
Not
wasn't
much
that much
from
in it.
Trelly.
Not much in it. Anyway, that's footy.
That's rugby league. That's rugby league. Sad to go. Now, look, obviously a shitload of sport on the weekend, Eddie, but quickly, because we did just jump straight into the fact we're in a bunker.
Yeah.
We obviously only just got down here.
This morning. We climbed down this morning.
Climbed down this morning. How was your weekend?
Terrific. Got up to Walker. Shout out to Janelle and Milo Archdale for having me. Got up to Jarch's place. It's good up there, bruh.
Nice clean country air.
Oh, it's good up there.
Lungfuls.
Lungfuls. Bit of rain, bit of sun, plenty of piss.
Country rain's good rain.
Storms.
Country storms.
That roll through. Beautiful stuff.
Beautiful country storms.
Absolutely terrific. We spent a fair bit of time at the commercial hotel. Shout out to Christian, the publican there. He's one of the greats. And just got through footy, mate. There was a lot of footy on the weekend, and it was turning me on.
I saw videos.
Saturday was one of the great days.
It was. I saw videos of you and Jarch shooting guns, or was it just Jarch? Did you?
No, I had a shot.
You had a shot?
Yep.
How's your aim?
It was
Struggling?
rusty.
Yeah.
A rusty old aim. He was. His dad's pretty good.
Well, I'm assuming Milo can fucking shoot a gun.
Jarch had a lucky first shot and then was pretty ordinary after that. Yeah. He'll probably argue differently,
Well,
but
of
that's the
course he
truth
will.
of the matter.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is a lucky first shot and then ordinary after that.
Is that the one that he filmed? He filmed a lucky first shot, though.
He filmed the lucky first shot and it was his first shot, so he does get some credit. Also, happy birthday to Jarch.
Yes, happy birthday
It is
to
his
you,
birthday
Jarch.
today.
And to Will Hickey, a friend of the show as well. You don't know, but they know each other.
A nice day for birthdays.
Yeah.
A nice day for birthdays. If my math is correct, I believe this is a real sort of New Year's Eve baby time.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
This is a New Year's Eve consummation.
This is where New Year's Eve loads
Bare fruit.
Bare fruit, harvested.
Yes, that's right. That is correct. What's the date today?
26th.
Yeah. It
NYE
may even be a
loads.
Christmas time, Boxing Day.
Christmas, Boxing Day, NYE loads sort of stuff.
This is a holiday load.
Holiday load. Horizontal season loads.
Yes, horizontal season loads. So,
Congrats to those.
shout out to all the babies who are horizontal babies.
Yes. Horizontal season babies.
Babies.
Yeah. Now, so you were down there firing guns, watching footy,
Playing pool,
playing pool.
ribbon and tearing, drinking rum, drinking whiskey,
Yeah.
eating beautiful country meals.
Country meals.
Like, we sit down night one, Tom, and enjoy one of the great country potato bakes all time.
Oh, shit.
Like, that just sets the scene.
How many nights?
3 nights.
Oh, that's nice.
Had a beautiful chicken casserole as well, Tom.
Oh, good shit.
Like
home
fucking-
cooking.
Home cooking.
Apple pie on the windowsill sort of shit.
We had a mud cake
Oh, yeah.
the judge requested.
Of course he did that fucking...
Where's his
2-year-old.
birthday? So you can have.
Oh, it's his birthday. Fair point.
So he wanted a mud cake, and a mud cake he had.
Cake. He's such a mud cake guy.
He's a mud cake guy.
He's such a mud cake guy.
He's a real mud cake guy. I had 3 schnitzels over the weekend. Plenty of gravy. Good honest country gravy as well.
Shout out to Country Gravy.
Shout out to the Top Pub in Uralla, I believe. Good schnitty there. Good honest gravy. Thick like tar. Just poured it all over there. So I've come back after a gluttonous weekend, Tom. Just, country food, schnitties, gravy as thick as tar, plenty of piss, rum, whiskey, pool, darts.
After the marathon, which you and I completed against all odds,
Oh, do you mean the 42 point whatever?
technically
kilometres we ran?
43 by my Strava's calculations, but yes, I had a real gluttonous week last week. Like it was, oh fuck, I've run a marathon, I can do whatever I want.
That's what I
vibe.
did. That was
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. And
That was my opinion.
I was ordering Uber Eats, pizza, fucking Mr. Crackles one night. I pounded the Tim Tams in here the other day.
Do you have the Timmies?
Tobler had 2 of them, but I took the rest of them to town.
To Pound Town?
My mother-in-law, she is one of the great enablers of me, and she brings over fucking chocolate to the house all the time. And she gifted me a full fucking bar of Kit Kat, like one of the biggies. So
What do you mean?
She brought it over to the house.
Like what one of the biggies?
So it's like you get these huge blocks of Kit Kat.
You're right.
Yeah, they're good.
As in like a dairy milk size.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm showing you the size of it with my hands.
Yep.
You can see it.
Yep.
For those of you that can't, you're just listening, go to YouTube and find the
Well, it's
time.
dairy milk size.
Yeah. But dairy milk's also small. So I'm saying it's a
You
bit-
know, like the block that you will
it's
get.
the size of a brick, basically. In fact, bigger. I went from Tim Tams in the office at home, found Kit Kat, pounded Kit Kats. My diet has been less than impressive. You right there, bud?
Just check it on the tongue.
So after a fucking week of just utter piggery, I also went to a second birthday party, and to say there was a pinata full of candy that I may have enjoyed.
Fairy bread?
Fairy bread,
Was there fairy bread?
fairy bread, pinata full of candy,
Cheetos?
cake. Didn't see the Cheetos.
No Cheetos.
There may have been. I wasn't looking for them. That's the thing. I'm not sure.
I
But
like Cheetos.
I decided to.
You know what Jarge told me he did on the weekend, just on Cheetos? He used to get a bag of Cheetos and crush them up, and so they were a fine powder.
Like a dust.
And then a Cheetos dust, and then he'd lick his fingers and then put it in there. That's how he'd consume his Cheetos. And I would say, if I had to guess, I reckon that's how he'd eat them now as well.
That is so rogue, dude.
Yeah.
Why?
You'd have to ask him.
Well, I mean, I've seen that video on his beautiful partner Steph's Instagram where she's like sitting in bed next to him. They're in bed of a night, and he's got his fucking big chunky headphones on, watching some stupid fantasy show or like a Marvel thing on his phone probably, and he's just licking biscuits. And she's like, "This is the most disgusting," and you can just hear him going. Licks one side, licks the other side, then eats it. I'm like, you're a fucking child in an adult's body.
He is. They're a bit like by his own admission.
No, I know. Yes, he's aware, but like, Can you stop? Do you have any awareness of the people? Are you like sucking on biscuits, like crushing Cheetos up? He needs to be studied, possibly.
Yeah. Bit of ADHD.
So. Yeah. Well, bit of everything.
Bit of Peter Pan.
Yeah. Oh, he's got some Peter Pan in him.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I'd say he's 98% Peter Pan.
I think so.
So I decided to go for another run to try and, like, back to
right,
fitness.
horrible, wrong?
Yeah, right, horrible, wrongs. Post-marathon world, the body's bounced back really well, except for the knee, but that's what it is. I am now, I ran 10 Ks. You could argue I'm in more pain than I am now than after the marathon.
Which is surprising, given the variation in distance.
I fucked my calf because my knee was so bad. I was trying to, like, compensate. My calf's fucked. Now my hip's fucked on the other side because I was trying to compensate for the calf and the knee, and
That's tough.
I shouldn't have run.
No, you shouldn't have.
I shouldn't have run.
No, you shouldn't have.
I got to really woo up. I got to just maybe swim or something.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear you were running that early, given that you've had a month off and your knee was still fucked.
Yeah, it was more about like
you need to get your knee right.
Yeah, but Ned Brockman's ringing loud in my ears, and he just gets up and does the damn thing.
I understand that, but I think that
I'm not trying to be Ned Brockman, but I am inspired by Ned Brockman.
If I had to take a wild guess, I reckon when Ned gets back, and he will, that he'll probably take a bit of time off.
Yeah.
Call me crazy.
No, I hope to Christ he takes some time off.
Shout out to Nerd. If you aren't aware, you need to be aware. Go to Ned Brockman's Instagram to follow the fucking most inspiring story, maybe all time. Is he my man crush at the moment? Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he is.
I'd say he's the nation's man crush.
Well, he's certainly mine, and fast becoming the nation's man crush as more and more people get the fuck on board. If you haven't donated, do it via the link in his Instagram bio, because this motherfucker's running for the homeless. And you need your coin.
Yep.
If you can't give a motherfucker who's running 100 Ks a day for 43 days some of your hard earned, shame on you.
Every dollar counts. But so that's why I tried to do a bit of Ned Brockman. It was a mistake. I'm not Ned Brockman.
I understand though. Mistake. He is very. He's powerful.
He's motivating.
And he's motivating. So I understand why you thought that maybe you had some Brockman about you, and you do.
Well, I do. We know that.
But you proved that already.
I don't need to prove it anymore.
You don't need to keep proving it.
No.
You proved it last Sunday.
Yeah.
So you wore up on that knee, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
Get in the water.
But so Saturday, second birthday, which was great, but it was also one of the great days of sport all time.
It was.
And it wasn't.
It had all the hallmarks of one of the great days of sport all time. And I was fucking jacked for it. But I also had, and I don't want to make out like I'm some sort of Nostradamus. But I couldn't help the feeling I was feeling. On game day, Tom, all I could think about was that time that I think you and I together, and we went to the Royal, and we watched the Swans get absolutely fucking humped into the earth by Hawthorn. That's what I was thinking all day.
Same.
And I was like, and the only reason I was thinking about it, because I was like, it won't ruin my day.
But it'll go a long way to ruining it.
It'll be annoying as hell.
Yeah.
And sure as shit, we get another Hawthorn situation.
Yeah.
The Swans got absolutely humped to the point where I was like, half time, I'm going to go play darts.
I'll stop watching.
Yeah.
My dad and my brother and my sister went to the pub together, and my dad and my brother left my sister at the pub. She was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it became a really big care, eh?
Yeah.
In fact, AFL is so boring when it's that one-sided.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything is really.
Of course. But AFL particularly.
Particularly, because at least with the NRL, like, you can still see some great tries. I guess I don't find goals as alluring when it's like just a beatdown.
It was one of the great beatdowns. Swans seem to love a beatdown. I feel like the Bulldogs final as well was fairly one-sided.
I think when it came down to it, it wasn't like a close result, but I don't remember. Again, the Swans.
So that was great and sort of set the scene for the Wallabies.
Well, listen, if you were a Geelong All Blacks and Penrith fan, Saturday, one of the great days, the All Blacks 32-0 up against the Wallabies. I am so glad I didn't see a goddamn second of that shit show. Like, fucking hell.
It was on in the background for me.
But it was on the background of the second birthday as well. I just was like, I'm not doing it to myself.
Yeah. Listen, there was some chatter during the week from some rugby union journos that was sort of like, we've come back to the All Blacks have come back to the pack, so to speak, and the Wallabies we're on equal footing now.
No, we're not.
I don't know if we are on equal footing.
Well, with 32-0 would suggest that we're probably not.
Yeah, it would. It would suggest that.
We haven't beaten him for 16 straight games or something.
Yeah. And we haven't won at Eden Park since the 80s.
Yeah, Parramatta vibes.
We haven't won at Bledisloe since 2002, so I'd be parking that equal footing rhetoric for a little bit.
I think you'd probably say equal footing if we win the Bledisloe. You know what I mean? Then, now we're back on equal footing. Not before.
Yeah.
Not before.
Yeah. We lost 2 games.
We literally lost back-to-back games.
Yeah, we did.
So not before. No. You wait until after to make those claims.
That's right.
Swans suck.
Swans sucked in that game.
I didn't put the right emphasis. I just said suck. They sucked in that grand final. Dane Rampy lost no fans with his post-game speech. In fact, I wanted to fuck him even more.
I've always wanted to fuck Dane Rampy.
Yeah, but...
And he knows that.
Just clip that up, please. Make sure we... But after the game, his speech was... It was real. It was like, as far as post-game speeches go, from a losing captain with one of the great heads of hair in the history of fucking sport, that was particularly good, where it was like... He was like, sometimes you got to pinch yourself when you're on the field with giants of the game. And he's like talking to Joel Selwood. He's like, fucking, you're one of the all-timers, bro. Like, the whole crowd goes crazy and starts like, Joel Selwood almost starts crying. You know? And listen, Eddie, like, am I happy that Patrick Dangerfield gets a fucking flag? Did he deserve it? Yeah, he did. You know? Fucking, am I happy for that guy that left GWS, Jeremy Cameron, Jezza? Am I happy for Jezza to get a flag? Gary Rowan? Yeah, I'm happy for those guys.
Oh, yeah?
I'm fucking happy for him.
Good for you, mate.
But, am I disappointed Gary Ablett misses out by a year? Yeah. I mean, he's already won a couple, but, like, it would have been nice for Gazza to go
Well,
out.
Gazza had already won 2.
3, maybe.
At least 2.
At least 2, maybe 3.
So Gazza had his fill.
Yeah.
Then he went up to the Suns and made big bicky. So I'm not too worried about Gary.
I'm not worried about Gary, but I'm just thinking, it would have been nice for Gary. Isaac Smith or Ian Smith or whatever, the guy who won the fucking Norm. I was happy for him. He's already won 3 at Hawthorn. Why not come and win another one with the fucking
Ian
Cats?
Smith. Jeez, that's a name.
Oh, that's a name. That's a tub of fucking home brand vanilla ice cream, that name. Isaac Smith.
Won the Norm.
Slightly
Smith.
better.
Slightly better.
But Isaac fast becoming the Ian of the 21st century.
Yes. No, I'd agree with that.
See that video from the Cats Mad Monday today?
Is that where they put the medal on a cow?
Nah, I didn't see that one. But there was all this talk before because the Cats, the team they named for the grand final was like the oldest ever to play a grand final by average age.
Yeah.
It was like 28 years old.
I think they were the oldest to play a game of AFL.
Yeah. Like, I think that, I heard that as well. I wasn't sure if that was true, but definitely in a grand final. So they've all come on Mad Monday dressed up as like the retirement village.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You love that. Is this just come out today?
Yeah, this is just this morning.
Rip that down.
That's
Let's get
actually
that
pretty
up.
good.
That's fucking great. Oh, no, he's fallen out. We got to get that up on the old gram.
That's good. That's respect.
Dude, a Mad Monday rip after winning like a professional competition, not just like with the boys after you're fucking playing like local, would just be one of the all-time rips.
It would be so much fun. It would be so much fun. Ripping and tearing with all your mates off your guts with a medal around your neck.
With a medal around the neck, just taking the piss.
But Saturday was a good day, even though it wasn't a good day from us. Like, it was good, though. I like being able to go to the pub at 1 o'clock. Shout out to Delta Goodrum and
Robbie Williams.
Robbie
Well,
Williams.
firstly, Robbie Williams killed it.
He was great.
Delta and him, their performance was whatever because it wasn't Kylie, and obviously I am a Kylie Robbie, like that song. You know, but Delta Goodrum has never looked hotter.
She's hot.
That was one of the most attractive looks I've ever seen on a human being. That may seem aggressive or like over the top.
It might sound hyperbolic.
I just was like, holy hell in a handbasket. The performance was okay, but she was looking incredible. I was sitting there with my missus or with, I don't know, and I was just going, fuck me dead.
Robbie's still got it.
Robbie is all sex.
He's all sex.
Like in terms of a pre-game fucking, at one point he goes, I think my brother said this, I didn't hear this bit, but he goes, his first thing he said was, hey, how you doing, guys? I'm Robbie Williams. I'm about to be amazing, so you guys better be good. And then he just gets into like one of his hits. And then he does one song which was like, he's doing all the hits. Then he does one which is like a new one because he's obviously like touring an album or some bullshit. And he's like, all right, bear with me. This is one of the new songs. We'll get through it together. And then at the end goes, okay, that was it. Now back to the hits. And then just gets back into it.
Big fan of Robbie.
Huge fan of Robbie.
Robbie did well. Robbie did real well. Robbie's still got it.
And like, I would love to be in a crowd like that. There's like 100,000 people and they're all singing like, you know, angels and shit.
They did well.
Yeah.
They did very well. A great coup by the AFL.
Yep. Now, Barnsley's doing...
Thank the heavens.
Thank the heavens.
Because I thought it might have been, you know...
Shepherd again.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
I couldn't have done another Shepherd at the grand final.
No, I couldn't have done
Timmy
another...
Trumpet.
Like, if they rolled out Timmy Trumpet again, I would have just gone, just pack it up.
To be honest, if Timmy Trumpet rolls out at a grand final, then the world might be ending.
But the NRL love that shit.
I know.
And maybe their marketing, their internal market research suggests that that's what the people want.
But maybe Robbie Williams is a bit more of an AFL crowd performer. Like, I wonder whether the
You don't think Robbie would land up north?
I wonder whether the rugby league, the macho rugby league dad with a gut and fucking, you know, tattoos from eyebrow to fucking asshole is going to be like, who's this fucking, yeah, you know?
I think that person exists in Victoria as well.
I agree with you, but I think
some of those Collingwood supporters, you
well, no, of course.
You need to rub your eyes and go, dear God, did I just see that?
Yeah, you do. I agree. But AFL is a bit more, it seems like the division of men and women who enjoy it is far greater, or it's like far more on par than in rugby league. I would feel, that's what to say, obviously there's not women in rugby league. Don't make me have to qualify my shit. You know what I'm saying? What I mean is, it just seems to be a little bit more like Robbie Williams would
That's
fly
your vibe. That's your vibe.
with the AFL populace.
Yes.
Whereas in rugby league terms, people are all a bit too cool to like fucking acknowledge that Robbie Williams is a goer of note.
Well, Barnsley's going to sell.
Barnsley's going to fucking rip and tear the house down.
I was very pleased to see Barnsley doing it.
I'm loving it.
Because I'd made some disparaging remarks about who the NRL may well be rolling out.
Well, Shepherd would have sucked.
And then I was buoyed to hear that it was Barnsley, because Barnsley can do the damn thing.
Oh, Barnsley can do it.
But shout out to Robbie, because I thought he was great.
Dude, pink
and
suit.
I thought Delta, as annoying as she can be, was great.
She was great and never ever looked. And again, it's just she was just so hot. I just can't get over it.
Looks that could kill, Tom.
I made a note in my phone. I was like, "My Delta, hottest person to ever live."
Yeah.
Obviously hyperbolic, but like.
Yeah. But also looked great.
Looked great.
So congratulations.
Congratulations. But again, maybe also the Robbie Williams performance in a pink suit, Delta in pink, hot as shit. That's a daytime performance.
It's 150,000% a daytime performance.
Jimmy probably more a nighttime performance, although he could do a daytime as well. But like rugby league
Jimmy can play day or night.
He can.
Whereas I think you're right. I think Robbie was particularly in the pink. That's a daytime thing.
Yeah.
Again, if you're listening, NRL, can we just let's start being mature about our decision making. Because the people want an afternoon grand final. That's what the people want.
I don't get why you would make it.
And if you go, yeah, but nighttime ratings, it doesn't affect the ratings in the AFL, and that's at 2:00. So don't give me that bullshit.
But also you can then make
and
a
I
day
don't
of it.
care. I don't fucking care about Flames.
No, I don't care.
Flames don't get me over the line.
But dude, Flames still.
You're like, well, we can't have Flames during the day.
You can still have Flames during the day. Don't be silly.
You're not as cool. I don't care.
No, they're not as cool. You're right. But it's, you know what? Flames don't make us the grand final. They help, but they don't make us.
I don't even think they help that much.
I feel like, and it'll be interesting to pay attention this week to the NRL grand final week, but the AFL grand final week feels like just a long, lazy holiday festival vibe.
Well, you know why? Because they have a public holiday.
Well, there's that, but they've got the
They have the Friday off just cause.
Yeah. But they've
Because they love footy and they want to bend into the GF.
But there's like, you know, they've got the parades, they've got the longest kick, they've got like all these things that are going on.
You know what we should do before the NRL Grand Final? Go out to Homebush and count how many pavers there are.
Pavers? That'd be nice. You think that could be exciting?
Well, like, you know, like let's use the landscape.
Yeah, okay. Or like, do we trek? Do we just run? Do we run to Homebush?
I wonder how far it is.
We could do it. Can you just get from basically here to Homebush?
You talking about running just made my ITB hurt.
Yeah, my knee. I've been trying to. I don't
It's
know if you've been
actually
noticing.
it's hurting right now.
I've been having to lift my leg up with my good leg because straightening my knee right now is so fucking painful. I'm also sweating a lot in these because I took my pants off so I could fit in them. It's like a sweatsuit right now.
That's disgusting.
Well, that's what happens when you.
How far is it?
It's 16.9 Ks, not including the 3.5 to get back to surface level.
Bro, we'd shit that in. To Homebush.
16.9.
Yep.
That's boring. That doesn't make me feel anything.
I basically ran that on the weekend.
You did. You did.
I wanted to say this as well, and obviously we've made a lot about Scaredy Cat Gill and the fact that during COVID his willy dropped off and attached to Peter Volandi's.
Well, it did though.
No, it did. It did. Like there's
Don't forget, punters and dribblers, that the only reason the AFL survived COVID is because
of the work that St. Peter
Peter showed the way.
Yeah. And then Gill's dick dropped off, wriggled all the way from Victoria up to New South Wales and attached itself to PVL shaft. But I will say this, Gil McLachlan has one of the great voices all time. And me and my sister were talking about it and we were like, this man needs to do a meditation app or like a de-stressing anxiety app. Just get him to read me fucking bedtime stories.
You reckon?
Dude, listen to that guy's voice and tell me that it's like this gruff, grumbly, really sexy. Like as far as CEOs go, dude.
Would you say you'd listen to a eunuch?
A what?
A eunuch.
I'm not going to judge a man because he's had his dick wriggle off and go to PVL. Like, obviously, he's not a man for the big occasion.
Well, he's a eunuch.
He's a eunuch, but PVL, you know, is such an immense individual that it was always going to go that way. But I wouldn't mind hearing Gil narrate stories so that I can get to sleep at night.
Mm.
Like, this guy needs to serve a purpose, right? He's dickless, but he needs to serve a purpose.
He's dickless, not purposeless.
Correct.
Is that what you're looking for?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Sure.
Do you want to know what parenthood's like? You want to give you a slice of parenthood?
Not really.
Well, you're going to hear it. From Monday through to Friday, Evie basically had a fucking 40-degree temperature the whole time. And you had to, like, give her Panadol and then it'd come down. And it'd go back up. Give her Panadol and come back down. It was the most arduous, sleepless. The fact that I didn't get sick is maybe an indication that I've turned a corner of like maybe I am now like this sort of elite athlete who doesn't get fucking sick anymore. Because she was sick the whole week, and Zoe. Both of them sick.
How's your hay fever going?
Pretty good, dude.
Are you doing that thing?
Yeah. I'm fucking jamming it in the morning. Once a day. Like I'm now I might be like, you know.
You don't know who you like, do you?
Well, no, I mean like impervious to illness.
Oh, right.
To colds.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
You can't get into viruses.
Listen, punters and drillers, I think we can all agree that that's highly unlikely.
Oh, I don't know.
Given your form.
Well, my form of late has been good. I literally was living in a sick ward.
But your form, horrific.
Recent form? Pretty good.
Your form.
Recent
Horrific.
form. Recent form. You didn't try some of that cream corn?
No.
Go on. Eddie, obviously it was an emotional weekend for a bunch of reasons, but I don't think that anything was more emotional. I'm going to speak for both of us here, but getting flown over to Fed's last game.
Hit me between the eyes. That was a draining weekend. That was draining.
Yeah. It was tough to
Just
see.
seeing your best mates breaking down like that.
Yeah.
Like obviously Federer was beside himself. He's my GOAT. I know he's your GOAT too.
Yeah. He's the people's GOAT.
He's the people's GOAT. You'd be like, you Nadal. You're like, yeah, mate. It's just he won too often on one surface, and I just don't care for clay. So the people's GOAT is no longer with us in a tennis sense.
No.
Which is upsetting. Nadal, I didn't expect him to cry as much as he did.
Well, no, it was nice to see Nadal cry as well, and
the robot, not much out of the robot.
No, well, he's a robot, right? That's not going to happen. You're not going to get anything out of that robot. He probably didn't even give a fuck.
No.
He's
just telling people he wasn't vaccinated. And I was okay, bro.
Cool, we get it.
I don't
That's
care
fine.
anymore.
No, I'm over the whole thing. But no, look, seeing Nadsy, getting emotional was almost when I started. Like I was emotional. I've seen Federer cry so much, right? It was nice to see one last teary speech from Roger, because that was sort of, when you want to talk about destigmatizing emotion in males.
Yeah.
Fed basically bawling his eyes out after every slam win. So it was nice, I think. It was full circle to see him going out in a fucking pool of tears. But to see Rafa crying was when I broke down, and we held each other for a good fucking 15 minutes, just bawling our eyes out.
It was emotional. It really was. Because you don't see Nadsy cry very often.
No.
He's usually rather... He's the most stoic of the four of us.
He's a stoic Spaniard.
Yep. He's always been the most stoic of the four of us, but to see him go, I was already going, but then I went.
Then you went.
I went.
No, it was like wailing.
When he went, I went.
Yep.
But shout out to Roger. Hell of a career.
Almost like the end of a long-running sitcom,
Yeah.
Seinfeld ends.
Yeah.
Like Friends, the last episode.
Like the last episode of Seinfeld, except the last episode of Seinfeld was shit.
Yeah, but that's...
Whereas this was like...
Well, you could argue
this was just sad.
Well, this wasn't... Well, it's kind of shit as well, right? It would have been better with a slam,
I like that he got to 20, though.
Oh, yeah.
20's a nice number.
It's a nice round number.
It's nice, and it's round, and it's nice.
And it's round. But it was just good to see, it was good to be there for the moment.
It was good to be there for the moment. Just a snap decision. We thought, fuck, we'll get on the PJ, get over there quick.
Yep.
Thanks to Roger for organising that.
And to Merker and the kids, it was great.
It was good to catch up.
It was just good to catch up. And
always good to see them, mate.
We'll get together again over Christmas, but it was, it was a quick little fly-in, fly-out ceremony, a bit of a rip and a tear, a few tears.
That's right.
Do.
End of an era.
Yep.
End of an era. Era over.
Oh,
era
the era's done.
It's done and dusted now.
Yeah.
You see the photo of the big four?
I did see that.
That was nice.
I think even Andy Murray's standing there being a bit like...
Yeah, but he was part of the
big four.
He was in the big four.
He's won 2 slams, so it's obviously a little different. But
he's won 3.
Whoa, sorry, mate.
I think I'm confident that they would have taken that photo and then asked him to get out.
Yeah, let's also do a big 3.
Well, let's do like a GOAT photo, which is obviously the 3 of us, and then we can do the big 4 thing because that was a narrative for so long.
And then we're gonna do just the 2 we like photo, and then
the people's champion, like the people's GOATs.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously no Novak because he's fucking annoying.
Yes.
But the end of an era that you sometimes at some point you were like, is this going to ever end?
I didn't think so.
Because on and on and on it rolled.
The end of this era almost makes me feel mortal. It reminds me that we are all heading for the same fate.
That's right.
Could it be this Sunday when the sun explodes? Hopefully not.
Because I was feeling rather immortal the longer they hung around.
Yeah.
You're like, well, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah. But really, there's an end to every era.
There is, and that era has now ended. The Federer era, the era of Federer.
Federer.
The Fed era. I tell you what's a wig out. Federer I believe, is the exact same age as Hewitt. And Hewitt retired
50 years ago.
fucking what feels like most of my life ago.
Hewitt's style of play, Eddie, and you'll allow me to indulge here, but as a tennis player, Hewitt's style a little bit more red line, just all grunt work.
What, Nadal's isn't?
Well, Nadal's is, but I'm not saying that Hewitt's as good as Nadal. Also, Nadal a bit younger, but
Not a heap younger.
you know how, like they say, sort of like mechanically, a bee shouldn't be able to fly, but it just is so determined it flaps its wings so
I'd never
hard.
heard that.
They just flap their wings so hard that they fly. That was kind of how Roger Federer played tennis for me. He probably shouldn't have been this.
Hewitt, you mean?
Sorry, Hewitt, not Roger. Roger, fucking those wings.
I was
were
like,
meant to fly.
What do you mean? He's a ballerina.
No. Roger's wings meant to fucking.
There's no grunt in his.
Hewitt's wings should not have allowed him to fly, but he was all effort,
Yeah.
so he flew.
It was he put the grunt in glory.
Sure,
No grunt, no glory.
it's no guts, but that's all right. You've thrown me there because it was so incorrect, but that's all right. Hewitt, redlined, shouldn't have been there, but was there through effort and sheer will, like the bee.
Grunt.
Put
the grunt in glory.
Okay. Nadal is a mixture of bee-like grunt, but he's also elite. He's not all grunt.
No, he's not all grunt, but there's a lot of grunt.
There's a lot of grunt in him.
Well, there needs to be plenty. He needs to be full of grunt to put grunt onto the ball in the form of topspin.
Yeah, but he's got it's almost like he's got grunt and he's also got like cream and cherry on top. Yeah.
You know that whip he does around the head?
Which I would do, but our hazmat suits are so fucking tight that it's difficult to properly emulate. Now, David.
Hello.
Also, before we get to that, another shout out before we get to Dave. Just because Dave can wait.
Yeah, of course you can.
And obviously we're talking about sport that isn't rugby league or AFL or Wallabies. And obviously now Tom and I are marathon runners. We can talk about marathon efforts because we're marathon runners, like we're marathon men.
Marathon men.
Like if you haven't run a marathon, then like you're not really qualifying.
No.
Kipchoge's broken the world record.
Saw that.
2 hours, 1 minute, 9 seconds. 2:52. The average splits.
His splits were 2:52.
2:52.
That is disgusting. That is
2:52
is sprinting.
Fucking absurd.
I wonder what you're doing in the 100 metres at 2:52. Like, what's your 100 metre time?
Don't know. Dave will tell us.
I bet he will.
2 minutes and 52 seconds. That is disgusting.
Yeah.
What's that? What's 400 metres at that pace? Don't know.
What's a minute something?
It's a minute something.
That we do know. Shout out to Kip. Very proud of you, mate. Obviously, we phoned him just before the race. Give him a bit of advice. Cadence, gate.
Cadence. He said that
Breathing.
he still had something in the legs, so he could go lower.
Could you break 2 hours?
That was considered. 2 hours was considered a record that would never ever be broken. People that knew what the fuck they were talking about were like, that cannot be done. He's getting pretty fucking close now.
What was he, like a minute off?
1 minute and 9 seconds. Didn't have the pace. He lost the pace, guys. They dropped off at 25k, so he did the last 17 by.
Because they were like, "Sorry, dude, we can't keep with you right now."
Who can? It's like in a official marathon, the pace guys can only stay as long as they can stay, as opposed to the record he did where they just stop.
What if you had like a remote control cart keeping the pace?
Cheating.
Why is that cheating?
Well, there's a clock telling you how you track. He's got a watch and shit.
So why is the pace setter cheating?
You sit behind him.
And what, it windbreaks?
Yeah.
Well, then have a little RCV car that you can just see. So you can't sit behind him. You just got to run to the pace.
It's cheating.
That ain't cheating.
I think you'll find that it would be.
Well, I'm saying if there's no car breaking your wind, why is it cheating? I mean, if there's no person breaking your wind, it's just a little car. It's not a remote control car. It's not breaking the wind. Might even trip you over.
I'm here to tell you that I think it's illegal.
I'm sure that it would be. I'm saying why.
Maybe having someone there, I don't know. Because you got pace setters and shit in other races, but they technically can't keep up the whole way.
This gas mask is giving me a headache. Maybe I need to put it on, that's why, but I won't because it's hard to breathe.
Anyway, Kipchoge, shout out to you, bro.
Shout out, Kip.
He ran 1:59.40 on a specially designed track in 2019 in Vienna, but it's not an officially recognised event, so it's not counted as a record. But
well, you can't have a specially designed track.
We knew that, though. Thanks, mate.
We did.
It's called breaking 2 hours.
It was a doco.
He did it.
But it was cheating.
But the course was flat. And he had pace setters. And like a line on the fucking floor that they ran after. Which laser.
Is like the quickest route.
No, it was in like, don't fall behind this line or you're fucked.
Oh, okay. Now, David.
Yep.
A little birdie told Eddie and I that there may be some relationship developments on your front with the female who currently resides in a share house with like 50 people.
Yep, that is true. I'm pleasured to announce to the punters and dribblers that I'm officially off the market. Officially in a relationship, tied down. Sorry to all the dribblettes out there. I know that you thought there was a lot of me to go around, but I'm taken now.
Dave's off the market.
Cute. Well done, buddy.
What happened?
Talk us through it. How'd you ask?
So, I was lucky enough and privileged by you two to be given the weekend off from digging this bunker. So that was nice. I could,
it was already done.
Well,
Otherwise
I knew I had to get it done by Friday.
We weren't going to give
Otherwise,
you the
I wasn't
weekend
going
off
to
if
get my
it wasn't
weekend
done,
plans.
buddy.
But yeah, I mean, couldn't see her on Saturday because obviously, big day of sport. But then Sunday rolls around. It's a beautiful sunny day. She picked me and my dog up from my house. And,
Shock horror, you fucking need to be picked up with your dog somewhere.
Yeah, well, I don't know. And yeah, we went down for a lovely little walk around Hermitage Walk near Vaucluse, all those beaches there.
Beautiful. It's a great walk, that one.
Yeah, it's a lovely one. Things going great. I was obviously a little nervous because I knew I had, just the thing in the back of my mind that I needed to ask, needed to do.
Were your hands sweaty? Knees weak?
Yeah, you know what? I was blaming it on the sun and the heat and, holding hands and stuff, getting a bit sweaty. But I think she knew deep down that I was just really nervous about something.
Yeah. Blame the weather, though. When in doubt.
100%.
That's it. So, we get down to a nice beach where my dog has a bit of room to run around, so I didn't have to hold her. And, the two of us were sitting on the rocks there, just, sun bathing over the water, reflecting straight into our eyes. Beautiful, romantic. You couldn't set a nicer scene.
Oh, Jesus.
So, I kind of just somewhat awkwardly popped the question in some form or another. And bit of a pause on her end. And she kind of starts going straight into a bit of a story before giving me an answer. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on here? She goes, on Friday or whatever, something, I don't know. She said, I was thinking about you. I was missing you a bit, which was cute.
Cute.
And so she thought she'd decide to look up what I do for work and maybe listen to a podcast that I might have spoken on. So she goes in and listens to Thursday's pod. Oof. And kind of just said she was waiting for it the whole time. She knew what was coming. And she knew and she was expecting it. So, but she fucking let me be nervous the whole time and wait until I could actually get it out myself before.
That's
oh my God.
She knew. I didn't even think about that you were even talking about doing it, and then she could very easily have just heard the whole thing.
That didn't cross my mind once.
No.
I was thinking about it, but I was like, nah, I don't think she'll be that interested to go listen to a sports podcast. All I tell her is it's a sports podcast. I didn't mention to her that I had mentioned her on the podcast, but she just thought she wanted to see a bit more of my face, and got a bit more than she wanted.
That is fucking hilarious. So she told you the yarn and then was like, yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like, yes. But yeah, very funny. And not just her that watched it. She showed it to most of her housemates as well.
Fuck, that would have been good for the downloads. We would have gone we must have been number one on the planet.
We would have gone up by
everyone.
10.
It'd be us and Joe Rogan after the millions of people.
What did they all find? Well, do they all find it as curious as the audience?
That they're living in a house with 10
the
people?
The amount of messages I got from people going, what the fuck sort of house is that?
More. We need more info.
People want interviews with people that live there. They want like
That landlord,
a
the
full-on
hoarder landlord.
walkthrough. People want to get it to the bottom of this landlord situation.
Yeah, so
hoards bikes
firstly, they loved it, which was great. I mean, they were all like, because they're not local Australians, most of our mates that live there. And so they're like, oh my God, we're famous in Australia. He's talking about us. They're like, oh, you know.
I guess.
Sure.
Two Turkish dudes who don't really understand English. And now I think everyone's starting to use this podcast to learn English.
Well, that's good.
it's
They're going
just
to be
a
calling
practice.
people throbbers and fucking like,
Exactly,
what?
yeah.
Yeah,
Some
I like
confusing
that.
No,
ones.
that's
they
good.
weren't sure about what a punter or a dribbler was, so I had to explain that.
Nice.
But yeah, I got some more definite details on the house just because I know everyone wanted to hear. So there's actually 12 people that live there.
12?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's my beautiful and lovely partner. There is
Who he referred to as his misso before when you went. He was like, I fucking was with the misso. And I'm like,
Nice, bruh.
there's 2 Japanese girls, Sayori and Natsumi. Shout out. There's Rafa, the Brazilian girl. There's an English couple and another English dude. So what are we at? 7.
it's like Noah's Ark of different countries.
Yeah.
is.
There's 2 Turkish dudes. There's the landlord. There's I think a couple from Melbourne. I think this is sound right. So we're up to 11. And then there's one dude who I actually forgot about, who's like 50 years old and lives like in the shed or something like that, a bit
A
off-site.
50-year-old guy lives there.
Yeah, yeah.
In a shed.
In like some type of off-site thing. I don't think he's in that real house with everyone.
Bruh, he's on the
But
property.
He's there. Apparently he's kind of mates with the landlord. Like,
How
there's
big's the
all these people
backyard?
there. There's a pool, which I didn't
wouldn't be
know about
swimming in
until
it.
recently. But it's like, it's
So
huge.
how big is this place?
It's pretty big. It's like,
Dude, it'd have to be massive. Like, pretty big's not big enough.
it's like
For him
12
to have
full
not
levels.
seen the pool means
But has he just not been to the backyard?
Yeah, not really. And I'd only kind of been at night. There's only 3 bathrooms in the place.
That's disgraceful. Have you
Yeah.
looked at him?
No, I actually haven't been in there.
Dave, you got to eyeball these bathrooms.
you haven't. But
dude.
you've been over there. Have you stayed the night there?
Yeah.
And didn't use the bathroom.
No, I don't think so.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Well, actually, to be fair, I took a piss outside before I went in the one night.
As in you pissed outside of their house.
Not right outside the
What
house,
is
but
wrong
around
with
the
you,
corner
dude?
where I was parking.
You pissed. Okay, whatever.
Don't worry about it. It was late
I
at
just- I
night.
can't
There
get
was a
into
few
that.
drinks in my system. I needed to go, and you know.
I've got no issue with pissing on the street. It's like you just go into a house with a toilet.
Yeah, but I didn't want to wait in line. There could be a line like 6 people deep.
That's actually a great point.
Oh, I get that.
That
I can
makes
actually
perfect sense now.
I can actually
I
respect
take that back.
I can respect that decision making.
Yeah.
Exactly. All
That's
too
why I was up.
complicated.
You'd be fucking waiting. You'd still be waiting.
But yeah, and like the way she explained it to me was the kitchen kind of works pretty smoothly because everyone's on different schedules. And half the people are like, you know, not really cooking in there. But then also the 50-year-old dude is a bit of a cleaner as well. He likes to clean things and keep things nice. He apparently is like a musician and a guitar teacher who spends most of his time stoned. So that sounds like a fun way to live. But it just somehow all works there. Everyone just kind of gets along. Everyone helps each other learning languages and do their RSAs and different things they need to get jobs and stuff. It's a lovely little ecosystem.
A little commune.
Yeah.
What about
nice
the
little
rubbish
commune.
situation?
Oh,
Rubbish would be fucked. Bin night would be fucked. Dude.
yeah.
You need at least 2 readies.
No, dude, you'd need more than 2. We're filling up We're filling up more than a ready every week in our house. A Joel, they call that. Joel ready. Sorry. Yeah, for 12 people, dude.
But they might be like, you know, biodegradable and, you know,
You still got to put shit somewhere.
reduce your imprint.
Do they have like a fucking your footprint? Do they have like
footprint.
a compost heap somewhere?
Whereas I've seen you just, you know.
Mate, I want to reduce my footprint, but it's difficult. I will say that. It's difficult.
Would 90% of your shit just be like nappies?
Yeah, like we recycle, so we do our part, but nappies take up a large portion of our rubbish. But you can have biodegradable nappies, bruh, so
Where do they go?
into the fucking landfill.
Yeah, I'm not, but I'm just talking about what goes into the red
Rubbish.
nappy, but it's mostly nappies.
Well,
So you take that out of the setup, and 2 might be enough.
not for 12 people, bro. 12 people, 3 meals a day. Fucking, they'd go through some toilet paper as well. Holy, they're plumbing.
That goes down though.
No, I'm just saying, like, is it with 12 people? Like, also the shopping situation, the fridge. How many fridges they got?
I think maybe only. Well, there's one fridge in the kitchen. I assume there's got to be another fridge somewhere else.
You'd
in
have
the
to have
house.
another fridge.
Maybe the landlord's got one in his shed or something.
I want to hear more about the landlord. He seems like a weird fuck.
Yeah, he is a weird fuck. So, I mean, I think I said last week that he bought like 4 or 5 bikes because he lost his license because he was driving an unregistered car. This was already on top of the apparently like 3 different motorbikes that he had as well. So there's, yeah.
Anyway, we'll keep the punter. People want photos though, so start snapping.
Well, they may not want their fucking private place photographed and put on socials, which I'd understand.
I'll ask when I go.
I just need you to
make
do
them a bit arty and a bit abstract.
Yeah.
But
So it
also,
could be
like,
anywhere.
you know, give me some bathroom. You need to come away with bathroom, rubbish, and like, you know, Fridge. How do they get through this sort of stuff? What's the line for the shower like? How clogged is it with fucking hair? You need to start working out some of these questions, answering some of these questions. But congratulations on being loved up, Dave.
Well done, buddy.
Very happy
We're
for
proud of you, mate.
Proud of you.
Couldn't have done it without your help.
No, you couldn't.
No, you could have. We're proud as punch,
We're
mate.
proud as punch.
Punters and dribblers. Budgy Smuggler have the ordinary rig competition coming up, and I'm pleased to report that there is a lot of Hello Sports submissions starting to roll.
There's a lot of dribblers
and
starting
that
to roll.
turns me on.
Yeah.
Because I want a dribbler to win this thing so goddamn badly, I can't even tell you. Because I've always thought of the dribbler as
Sons and daughters
unbeatable.
of ours. Well, but sons and daughters of ours.
Of course, but unbeatable.
Yes.
I can't see a dribbler getting bested.
No.
And I'm in a mood to give away a bag of green.
If you win and you are of our stock, then a baggy green will be bestowed upon you. Now, entries closed the 2nd of October. BudgySmuggler.com, maybe a .au, do your own research. But the entries close October 2nd. We're taking on a bunch of other podcasts. Grade Cricketer, Pig Athletic, Dylan Friends, List Cloggers. The list may go on. But we need to beat these fucks. Love them all, but fuck them.
Great cricketer.
Great cricketer, I think I said. Love them all, but fuck them. We want it to come from our ranks. Now, you know, the last couple of weeks we've been, you know, working our way through ordinary rigs of the world. And it's funny because when you think about the Rugby League Grand Final this week, I feel like it makes sense to look at some ordinary rigs there. You'd think that when you're an elite athlete at the top of your game, like you look at, say, like, well, no, you'd even see it. You see it in all sports, actually. I was thinking about the NFL, but you got the highest end athletes next to some people who are, like you look at Latrell, for example, right? One of the greatest athletes we've got in the game, ordinary rig. Clint Gutherson, he's not like sloppy, but he's not cut to an inch of his life, is he?
No, he's not.
But a great athlete.
Jake Trbojevic. Like that man, one of the great athletes ever produced in this country. But you have him with his shirt off, he's still hot. Like he still gets the heart racing, but he's not six-packed up. Well, it's like, you know, by the letter of the law, it's not. It's relatively ordinary, right?
Can I tell you who's got an ordinary rig? Mal Meninga.
100%.
Now, Mal, obviously an older gentleman, and he's done the damn thing for the nation, you know, for years and years and years. And now he's coaching the nation. But if we're talking about someone who had it and has now lost it, but you can see still had it, Mal Meninga is as thick and juicy as it gets.
Yeah, he's voluptuous now.
Yeah, he is.
Kevy's pretty curvy now.
Curvy.
Kevy's curvy now.
Yeah.
Know that. He's not like some hot young piece of ass no more.
No. He's
got
now,
no-
well, they're now like, you know, nice, fine wines.
He's got an ordinary rig.
Yeah. But then you look at someone like Trent Barrett and you're like, well, that guy's rig will never be ordinary.
No. He's built different.
Yes.
Not who we're after.
No.
We're after ordinary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that making sense to the punter end of the dribble?
Basically, it's just got to look like you had it and then you lost it.
But also, you can have never had it.
You can also have never had it, but they sort of, you want it to be a little bit. And this,
I think some of the submissions we've got, they've never had it, and that's cool.
well, they may have never had it, or they really just like lost it. You know, like it's not coming back.
As
You know, like when Tom Hanks loses Wilson.
Yep. And then you know in that moment that Wilson's never coming back.
Yeah, that's what I think is like with the rigs of some of these guys is that like they had Wilson, good bodies. They lost Wilson, they lost their bodies.
Did you ever have a Wilson?
Not really, no. But if you look back at photos of me from my early 20s, I'm like, oh, okay, like my perception was always that I just didn't have it. And whilst I didn't have it, compared to now, I had it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, comparatively.
Comparatively, I had it.
Contextually, you never had anything.
No.
But comparatively, you did.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a hard pill to swallow.
So it's more about like losing the best version of yourself.
Well, I mean, I'd say I'm the best version of myself now.
But not aesthetically.
No, not aesthetically.
And that's fine.
That's fine. I tell you what, though, I might lose some weight after sitting in this fucking suit. Tell you what.
Yeah, you've cut 5-6 kilos.
Yeah, I think so, dude. Like, I'll be pouring water out of my fucking
that's
ankles.
disgusting.
I'll put it on the plants. They need it in the bunker. They're not getting any sunlight.
No, they're not. And they need some water. We've got to ration it down here.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's going to go a long way. BudgySmuggler.com, maybe.au. Follow the prompts if you want a shot at glory of becoming the most ordinary rig in Australia. Tom and I will be there hosting the event. It's going to be a who's who, but it's also going to be one of the great dudes all time.
Yeah, at the Ivy Pool, October 29, the top 10, I believe. Now, if you've got a skill, that's going to help because much like these sort of competitions, skills, like a talent quest sort of thing. Can you juggle? Can you blow smoke out of your
If you've got the
arse?
skills to thrill,
Yeah.
you're a sniff.
Yeah. Can I speak of a skill a friend of mine used to have? I won't name him, but you know him. And it was responsible for some of the biggest laughs that I've ever had in my life. And there's actually, I haven't thought about it for ages. I almost yearn to be back there. It was like, your early teens. And there used to be these videos similar around the same time like Jackass was coming out and shit. They were called Tensions. And it was like bodyboarding videos mixed in with like jackassery sort of stuff. And so we would like try and emulate it. But our mate, he used to be able to suck air into his asshole. And then he'd roll over on his back and we'd put talcum powder on his butthole and he'd fart clouds. And it was the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. And also really disconcerting when you could hear his bumhole go and like suck air in. And
Dear God.
And he'd do as much. He'd fill his asshole up with air. And he'd go, quick. And you'd have a glass full of talcum powder and like a tablespoon. You go, quick.
I've never heard of that. I've heard of queefs on demand, but I've never heard of
sucking air in.
The
breathing asshole.
No.
Yeah.
There you go.
BudgySmuggler.com. If you would like to, if you've got that talent, I mean, that's going to get you.
You've got an ordinary rig with that talent. That's almost gold.
Dude, you're getting over the line in my book. You're certainly getting over the line in my book.
100%. But you're running out of time.
Who would you say has got the most ordinary rig of the grand final? Let's just think about the teams. Is it Junior Bolo? I don't want to say anything to offend the great man. He's big and he's intimidating as fuck. But like Regan Campbell-Gillard, actually, I'd say. What
sort of nick is Sean Lane in, do you reckon, underneath all that?
That's a great point.
He's just a beanpole,
dude. Slender Man. Do you remember seeing Slender Man?
He's like, I think that's pretty ordinary.
No, I think Sean Lane's actually the greatest call. Sean Lane's just a skinny dude.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not much, He's not getting the tongues wagging.
But also an ordinary rig who's just doing the damn thing. Excelling.
Yeah, been great.
Mick Ennis has him in his Australian side.
I saw that today. I don't know if it's going to go that way for you, Mick, but I see your point.
I wouldn't mind seeing Sean there. Worst body in the grand final. Most ordinary rig, in the grand final. I think that's fair.
Point certainly seen.
Yeah.
BudgySmuggler.com.
October 2nd, entries finish. Get in if you want to represent the community.
You've got less than a week. This week's the week. The week's the week. This week's the week.
This is the week. Now, shout out to the great and powerful David Warner who came on All Talk last week. It was absolutely fantastic to talk to him. One of the greatest openers I've ever produced. If you haven't listened, go back and listen because we'd encourage that. Shout out to KO on Fox Cricket for teeing that up. But here's a little clip from the interview for you to have a little peruse. You had a cricket coach when you were a bit younger who tried to make you bat right-handed?
Yep.
What
Yep.
was that yarn? Like, and why did that happen?
Yeah, God bless him. Yeah, he passed away a couple of years ago, and he was an awesome coach. Like he was. So, in short, I had so much power left-handed and kept hitting the ball in the end, kept getting caught. And he's like, we have to work out a way how you keep hitting the ball on the ground. Like you're going to get caught all the time if you keep hitting it in the air. So we tried batting right-handed, and I was pretty much the same. But I just only had one shot that I hit in the air that was playing a pull shot. And everything was along the ground, playing a cover drive, a straight drive, on drive, right-handed. So he said to me, all right, we're going to bat right-handed for a whole year. And I ended up scoring the same amount of runs, but I just felt I had no power. I felt like I couldn't play that hoik down the ground or that hoik over mid-wicket that I'd like to do. And I just felt like I had more control.
How old were you?
I was 13.
Do you understand at all how frustrating it might be for the general cricketer to know that you just went, oh, fuck it, I'll play right-handed and scored the same amount of runs?
Well, you talk to the boys now. I batted for a couple of sessions in Sri Lanka recently, right-handed, playing spin, and I didn't get out.
Oh
and
my God.
It's just one of those things that where I can sweep naturally, and I'm going to big no, unbelievable, better than a lot of the guys in the team, like better than Gazza, sweeping the ball right-handed. But I come try and sweep the ball left-handed, I'm absolutely horrendous.
Really?
Yeah, I can't sweep left-handed.
Had you always practiced right-handed when you were growing up? Like how much of it?
I think over time, getting my weight over my front foot has been hard with my right leg. So lunging forward, because we just don't do it right in Australia. We don't sweep. But playing the reverse sweep so much, getting my front foot out and just having more sort of flexibility, I think it's helped. So then when I bat right-handed, I can get right out there. It's so weird because I measured it. I measured how far I can come out and meet the ball right-handed and how far I come out. It's almost a bat length.
Really?
Yeah, difference of how far I can reach out.
What's that about? Flexibility? Or
so
like?
my hip flexors, when I'm batting left-handed, I can't get over my front knee. But on my left side, I can get right over it.
All right, now that you've heard a bit of David Warner, I think it's time we dribble, Eddie, and we wrap this bitch up from the bunker.
Let's dribble.
Tom, Eddie, DYOR Toddler. It's a curry drive-through dribbler here. Now, it's not the time for origin stories of where the name comes from, but in saying that, some other dribblers probably already caught up and saying they're the drive-through dribbler. But there's not one cunt who spent more time in a Macca's drive-through than me. And if you think I'm not joking, I haven't had a single hot meal in over a decade that wasn't passed through the driver's side of a window of my car. Now, I'm fucking pumped. And I can already hear the soy boy dribblers whining about the forward pass. You haven't got any skin in the game because your team's annual leave started 3 weeks ago. But I pose this to all the Cowgirl fans. Would you give back that hollow win against the Beta Tigers? And might I remind everyone that they need reminding come last? Would they give that win back and have the rest call on that forward pass and go through to the grand final? You're damn right they'd give it back. They'd give it back in a heartbeat. What about that dive from Valentine Holmes? They would have looked out of place on a 3-metre springboard against the Sharks. Would you give that back? Yeah, you'd give that back too. What I'm saying here, dribblers, is that the Rugby League gods giveth and they taketh. And fuck me, did they taketh. Take if you licks. Gutho forever, forward passes never.
I couldn't get away from the fact that there was a kid crying in the background for that whole thing. And he's just like, Dad, what are you doing? That was hilarious. Yeah.
The drive-through dribbler.
Yeah, I'd also call him the daddy dribbler. But the drive-through dribbler, I mean, because it was like him going through drive-throughs was a nice little origin story there, but it was basically you dribbling while your kid's like fucking whinging in the background. Sounded like you needed some attention, dude. But I appreciate you prioritising the importance of the dribble.
Listen,
over
at the end of the day,
child.
dribbling yarn's more important.
Yep.
We all know that.
We all know that.
So I think we accept that as fact.
Yep.
I think he was just merely making a point around the Rugby League gods giving and taketh thing away.
Giveth and taketh. They do. Rugby League gods have giveth and they've taketh for,
millennia.
As long as the game's been going.
Millennia.
Yep.
Since the dawn of time itself.
Yep. Good dribble.
Guys, I'd just like to alert you on something very serious that's happening right now. The sun's exploding. It's ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. I've waited a long time for this.
And Paris pulled through. 2022 premiers. I know we're only in the grand final right now, but 2022 premiers, Parramatta Eels. All I'd like to say to the press, to the media, to Tom, to Eddie, to DYOR, Tobler, everyone out there, all the doubters, is we did it. The Parramatta Eels, 2022 premiers. Yes, I'm that confident. I'll leave you with that, boys. The sun is exploding.
Well, listen, we're certainly taking every step to make sure that we're safe if the sun is to explode. So I don't think it will be exploding personally, but I'm not fucking running the.
Well, it's a hell of a risk to run, Tom. Now that we're here,
Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident that we'll be fine.
Yeah. He was very emotional, which seems like the Parramatta fans are crying just to make the grand final. It's not like you haven't made a grand final since the 80s. You just haven't won one. Like, I don't know about crying because you made the grand final. Like, I don't care. Do whatever you want, but I'm just saying, like, that's a loser's mentality. We're just happy to be here.
It's not a good sign.
No.
It's almost like they've won their grand final by making the grand final.
Correct.
That's how it sounds to me.
That's the vibe I'm getting. Yeah. All these fucking beta Eels fans.
Boys, just wanted to start off by saying Barley Queen. Second
Barley.
off, just wanted to go into, does this change heads and tails with the passing of the Queen? King Charles, obviously, much denser head, lots of wrinkles, all of that jazz. So there's going to be a lot more detailing on the head side of the coin now. Will this raise the chances of heads in heads and tails? With the summer of ripping and tearing coming up, capped off by Anzac Day, I think I'm going to be backing heads a lot more if Charles big heads on it. So, Barley Queen, heads forever. Cheers, boys.
Look, I don't know where this Dribble's calling from, but there's an old adage that I know that I've always gone by, specifically when it comes to two up, but generally in my life. And that's tails never fails in New South Wales. So I don't give a fuck how densely creased and wrinkled Kingy's face is. From my understanding, from the inside words, from the people I know at the Mint, Eddie, each side of the coin must be exactly the same weight.
Look, I understand what you're saying, Tom. I know that the old adage of tails never fails in New South Wales rings true. I can't tell a porky. I can't tell a lie. If they've got coins with the King's head on them at the next Anzac Day 2023, it's going to be on my mind. It's going to be unavoidable.
Well, are his hands going to be in shocks? If they got to do those big fat fingers, then that changes things.
It's going to be unavoidable for me now not to be thinking about that. Going, does that big fucker, does he flip? Is he going to flip truer? Harder?
Well, maybe we need
More
to get
honestly,
a hand on a couple of Kingy coins.
We're going to have to. We're going to have to run our eye over them.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do the tough stuff ourselves, Tom. In fact, we will be doing that for the punter and the dribbler in the lead up to next year's Anzac Day, just to let you know what we see. Because it's a good point.
Yeah, it's not a bad
particularly
point.
Particularly if he's got his hands up like this.
If he's like that,
And he's
you're
all
in some trouble.
Yeah, you're in big trouble. There you go.
Good dribble.
On we go.
Hey lads, Physio Dribbler here. Just driving to the childcare to pick the kids up, and saw something peculiar. The bloke sitting on his sitting on the grass out the front of his house, of all places, clipping his toenails. I remember a few years ago there was another bloke I used to work with who he reckons that toenails grow from out, so he just he puts his toes over the toilet bowl and cuts his toenails so the nails land straight into the toilet bowl and he flushes them. That got me thinking, what do you boys do? What is that considered uncouth? What should you do? I want to hear the professional opinion of Thomas and Edward.
Yep. No, we get.
No, we understand.
Yeah. Toilet paper.
Yeah. Better than you just lay down some.
Yeah, you just lay down, and then it collects.
It collects.
And then you scrunch it up and throw it away.
I would say over a toilet bowl, not the worst idea, but I'd prefer to be able to do it while I'm watching something or doing, you know, it's a little bit.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with the toilet bowl approach.
No, I don't have an issue with it.
That dribble did spark a memory in my mind. When we were driving on the weekend, Ella and I up to Walker, we stopped at a set of traffic lights, and next to us was like a bus stop, and a guy was sitting there, and he was just fucking plowing his nose and eating it.
Oh.
Just working it and just going bang,
Don't stop
bang,
it.
bang.
Stop it.
And we were looked at each other and like, holy shit.
Did he look like he was a few chippies short of a Happy Meal, or was he just someone who liked to
He looked like he'd
pound his own nose?
He looked like he worked at EB Games, but...
Which is neither here nor there, but it does paint a picture. Like, if you work at EB Games, is there a chance you pick your own nose and eat it? A much higher one.
Yeah, at the bus stop in full view.
Dude.
Just working.
How old?
Late 30s.
Fuck, that's
early
fucked
40s.
up, dude.
Early 40s.
Dude, and we worked at EB Games for sure then. Like, that's gross, bro. It's so gross. Like, picking your nose and eating it is... As a child, I get it. You don't understand what's going on. But for you to fucking carry that through, and no one's like, firstly, it's obviously a failure of parenting, but like, you're an adult now, bruh. I don't care how many fucking Dota 5s you're selling. Stop eating your fucking boogers. Like, stop doing it. Stop it.
He was working too.
Oh, I bet he was. That's also like, no. Stop.
He was working for it.
If you still fucking pick your nose and eat it and you're not 6 and under. If you're over the age of 6 and still pick your nose and eat it, then you're a fucking disgrace. You're an absolute disgrace. You need to sort your shit out. I fucking hate that shit so much.
Good stuff.
Let's move on.
All right, last one.
Good.
Lads, CBA dribbler here. Long time, first time. I just wanted to drop you blokes a note to let you know that I'm sure I'm speaking for most dribblers when I say that you blokes drag us through the working week. You bloody do. And I tell you what, Tuesdays is a long day because there's no bloke in a bar pod. I'm fucking dry on a Tuesday. But Mondays, Thursdays, favourite days of the week. Friday speaks for itself. Wednesday, bloke in the bar, about even. And even though every day for you blokes is a public holiday, just know that you are making the working man work a bit harder. So keep up the great work. Really appreciate it. Unfortunately, Souths are out. I guess we'll see the sun explode next week. Cheers, boys. Bye.
What a lovely young man.
What a fucking stand-up guy.
What a fine young gentleman.
What a bastion of moral ethics and, ethics and morals and upstanding morals and ethics.
And upstanding be they.
Be those morals. And what a fucking great guy.
I tell you what, he's a credit. He's full credit to his mum and dad.
Full credit to the boys and to his mum and his dad. What a tremendous, tremendous gentleman. It's always very heartwarming to reminder to know that the punter and the dribbler are of the absolute highest quality.
Of the highest order. And
exemplified by this gentleman in his kind words, true as they are, absolutely just gorgeous.
Well, look, although they are true, Tom, it takes a certain sort of individual, an individual with a backbone and a real sense of self to get on the blower, call in, and speak the truth.
Bit of chutzpah.
Oh, yeah, he's got plenty of fucking go about him.
That man's all chutzpah.
Yeah.
Hutz. Okay. Look, and we obviously apologise to you that Eddie was...
Give it a hutz.
Give it a hutz.
Yeah. It's a chutzpah. Got to really lean into it.
It's a Jewish
thing.
Hutz.
Chutzpah.
No, it's not. It's not hurus. It's not fucking. It's not Spaniard.
Give it a hurus.
Hurus. Hurutzpah.
Hurutzpah.
Is it a hurutzpah?
Yeah, good shit.
He's got a great guy. Shout out to that guy.
All right, cunts. We'll be down here in the bunk for the rest of the week. Uru.
Bye-bye.
Could you two just not talk anymore?